Self perfected.
Let's go! Come and get the news, get some common sense too. Breaking through the filter that's been clouding the view. Step out the algorithm, take back control. No bias, no opinion, just pure gold. Tune in, wake up, it's time to reflect. What's best for all is what we dissect. No spins, no games, just the truth in your ear. Self-perfected, making things clear. So if you're ready to see and you're ready to choose, come and get the news with the common sense view. Self-perfected, making things clear.
What's up, Mitchy Mitch?
What's up, Drake? How you doing?
Pretty good.
You ready?
Sure.
What is this, episode 298?
298.
Hey, who's in the comments? Where's Cameron? Where's Cameron?
Yeah, Cam, there's something up with your camera.
I
camera.
am.
Right.
I'm here.
What's up?
You
I'm
shy
here, guys.
today? What is this?
What?
What, are you having an issue?
Not exactly. I'm just a little nervous about coming on the stream today.
Why?
Oh, Cameron. It's okay. Cam, repeat after me. I forgive myself.
I'm actually experiencing some technical difficulties.
You experiencing technical
Really?
difficulties?
What
Like-
happened?
Actually.
Ooh,
Wait, what?
No, like actually.
What do you mean? Did
I
you?
thought you said you were nervous.
Well,
Yeah.
also, now I'm even more nervous.
No. What? Chat. What do we think's up with Cameron right now? I don't know. Any guesses? Maybe he tried to wrangle.
Are you gonna
like
do
a-
this
a
the whole
rooster?
stream, Cam? You're just not gonna have your camera
Maybe he
on?
tried to wrangle a
Yeah.
rooster and it clawed him in the face. He's like missing half his beard.
Dude, I wrangled.
What's
a
your guess,
rooster.
Drake? What do you think is wrong with
Okay,
Cameron?
listen.
Bad haircut?
Listen.
He always wears a hat.
We've been reading a lot of sci-fi, right? Can you guys
Yeah.
hear me okay?
We
Yeah.
can
My
hear you
air
just
conditioning
fine.
is
I, we just I can't. You got to put your picture up as someone we.
I
love
want
and
to. I've been reading a lot of sci-fi. You guys know me.
Yeah.
And I've been reading a lot of Kurzweil and Martin Rothblatt, and
Oh no. Oh no.
you know,
You-
and I, the thing is, like, some of it kind of makes sense.
No, no, no.
Some of it kind of makes sense. Like,
Oh no.
if you,
What do you
What if
mean
you-
makes sense?
Well,
Like,
I just,
like what?
well, again, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't open my camera up. You guys are already judging.
I'm already judging.
You're already
I'm not
judging.
judging you, Cameron. Cameron.
Cam, I'm judging
Inclusion.
you. Hardcore. What the fuck are you talking about?
Let me just say, I've been doing some thinking, and I've decided to make some changes. And it's
Alright.
probably not what you guys are expecting.
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
So I just need to know if you guys are going to accept me.
Rip the band-aid off. Let's get it over with. Let's see. Come on. What's going on
No,
here?
no guarantee of acceptance.
All right, you ready? See, I knew you guys were going to laugh. What? Honestly, isn't this better?
I mean,
Better.
Try not to focus right here so much. Just forget about this part. I feel more like my real self.
Really. This is your real self. This is it.
I mean, it represents how I feel about myself. I
Okay.
feel. I've always felt a
Is this how you
little.
feel on the inside?
I've always felt very glossy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
guys, look at my fucking abs now. Like,
Wow.
Wha-
Whoa. We don't want to
wow.
get censored, Cameron.
Why does it look like that?
Oh, went black. I think you got to censor it off.
well,
YouTube.
the thing is, it's the technology is not totally perfected.
Okay.
So
It's not self-perfected.
I have to be plugged on. I have to be plugged into the server.
Oh, did you just get unplugged?
Yeah. The cool thing about it though is, you know, I, if I don't like how if I feel differently in a different moment, I can look different. I can be something else. So
Oh,
it's
really?
it's very flexible technology.
Wow, these
Like for
gender
example,
fluid
if
are they're gonna love that.
right, like I was just showing you how I feel like when I want to go out in public,
Yeah.
right? But like if Katie wants me to do housework or something, like, you know, get out the vacuum, do some housework, right?
Yeah.
I can easily shift, right?
Yeah.
So I can do this, right? I know people think this isn't real, right? But look, I got my phone right here.
Yeah, I see.
It's really, see? Look, see, there's Seneca. See, it's really me, guys. It's really me. Look, it's really me.
Cameron, we're really finally almost 300 episodes in. We're finally seeing the real you.
Oh shit!
How does
I'm running.
how does it feel, Cameron, to be seen now?
It feels a little awkward.
Your face is giving no expression at all.
Yeah, you kind of look like the
Really?
guy in the Blue Man Group, except
Oh,
See, look at all this expression, guys.
wow.
dude, no, you
I
look
can really
like
express.
the Kardashians with all the Botox in your face.
I don't know why.
Oh, where'd you get these breasts from? That just kind of appeared out of nowhere.
This is the prepubescent model, and I'm going through puberty as we speak.
I
Part of
see.
the upgrade process.
I see.
You're not a
Damn!
fully
I ran out of
grown
tokens again. The thing is, it's fun for a bit. It's fun
Yeah.
for a bit, then you run out of tokens,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and then you're just left with this.
Ah,
There's that Cameron. Not Cameron.
Hideous. Oh wait, that's you, Cam. Sorry. Good to see you.
No tits though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's
wow.
funny is like the models I'm using don't really have very pronounced tits. I think it's actually just modeling it
Just
on
you?
my actual body.
That's what's happening. That's it. That was fun.
Wow, I was worried you were never gonna come back, Cameron.
So what was that? Where?
That was me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I don't understand the question.
never mind. Never mind. I removed the question.
So guys, what's been happening in the world?
Speaking of
Hey.
transhumans, there's a big debate going on with the Mormons and the Christians right now. I was talking to Jake about it
Yes.
earlier. Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I think it was even in the since last episode the whole Pope thing. Did the encyclic thing was that last? Did we talk about that last week?
Probably. It was either last week or the week before.
Oh, okay.
But that's a whole
Topics.
nother, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just telling Cam before the stream. So, in case you don't know, basically, what
Drake,
was it?
move
The
your mic
department-
like a little bit closer to your face.
That's enough.
Dude,
Okay. What was
sounds
going
okay to me.
on?
no, but relative to you,
Try banging on it.
try banging it.
Better?
Perfect.
No. Just Cameron clearly sounds good, and you sound like you're at 70%.
I don't
Really?
look good though.
He may not look good, but he sounds good.
Really? I sound like I'm at
Dude, you
70%.
just, your
Can I-
mic
can I-
is not normally.
Can I
up
get a
there.
second opinion? Sandro?
Can you just move
Sandro?
the mic in front of your fucking face?
I
Like you
want a second
always
opinion.
do?
It sounds fine to me. Of
Yeah,
course, I
yeah.
can't hear myself, so
Yeah, I can
guys-
hear both of you, and I'm
you
telling you,
sound
Drake
you
doesn't
sound
sound
good
as
compared to each other,
I sound like you, Mitchell. You hear that?
Okay.
Yeah.
and that's the episode.
Hey, chat, I tried. Sorry.
Sorry, chat.
Nobody in the chat's saying anything. It's just you. Mitch.
Yeah, I think
There's
it's
a
the
20-second delay. You're gonna
And
get all
listen,
the fucking hate in the
You,
second.
you got some shitty
Like,
headphones
fuck you,
in.
Drake. I'm gonna write some Reddit articles about you.
That's
Fucking
fine. I already
your
have them.
mic.
They're already out there. It's fine. It's cool. I don't
I think we
mind
need
it.
an award for whoever has the most hater articles.
Ooh, I could rack them up.
yeah.
Oh,
Right.
John Anthony wants me to whisper into the mic. Drake sounds
projecting.
fine. Mitch
I'm
is
projecting my voice, or I'm projecting like in the mental.
You're
way?
projecting
Drake.
mentally.
Three Rock Ranch. What does Three Rock Ranch even mean?
You know
the name
30
of his
Rock?
ranch.
there's three
Yeah.
rocks on his ranch, obviously,
Okay.
and we're the third rock from the sun.
Oh yeah.
Mitch has to think about that one. He's like, I
we
don't
actually-
know if that coincides with. my
Aren't there
flat Earth
technically
theory."
moons on like Venus or?
So you guys want to talk about the Mormon thing or talk about? Mike's
We're
all
over
that?
it. We're over it.
I
Mitch
don't
wants
know,
to just
man.
talk about my
I
microphone.
mean, I don't care.
That's
I
it.
talked about it for like 2 hours last night.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Give us the highlight, and then we can see if it's
Straight
So,
can give the highlight. Yeah.
I'll give you the highlight because here's what I know. Because I think Cam will he doesn't know what we don't know. Why are you laughing?
like
Right.
here's how I see it as outside. I'm like, okay, the Mormons got their Kool-Aid they're drinking. You got
Well,
the
hold on.
Christians
You
got
need
their
the
Kool-Aid.
you need the background of what
Yes.
the point is. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what
Makes
Jason.
sense. Yeah.
gave you.
Okay. Yeah.
On his
Okay.
shade mic.
Tell me.
All right, so the Department of Defense, apparently, I don't know, somebody in the Defense Department, or sorry, Department of War. Always
Yeah.
forgetting.
Well, go to
The
jail
Department
for
of
getting
War put out some new classifications. I don't know what for. Well, I don't know what the classifications are for. That's clearly Owen. in the chat.
I know.
I think
we
it's
all
like
saw that.
I think it's like when you're in the military and you can say what your religious faith is,
Uh-huh.
and then they have a list of kind of like you put your gender, right? Male, female. Like you can put what
Are those the only
hair,
options? when
hair
you-
color, what hair color, eye color,
Hair
things
color,
like that.
tie dye,
And you put your gender,
gender,
male,
non
female?
non.
Yes, and then it's like you choose your religious classification. So I guess you can get a chaplain or something.
You're like Shia Muslim.
Yeah,
You're
you
like
could put
straight to Leavenworth.
that. Can you put like Spaghetti Monster? Is that one
No,
of the
it's not
ones?
one of them. It's probably under other.
Oh.
I'm like, why even have an other category?
I don't understand what's the point of like
Why not
putting them
just
in-
put-
as
What's
What's the point of
categories?
having this?
What is-
Religion, no religion. Let's like list all the religions. Well, yours isn't here. Just put other.
then why'd you list them?
Yeah. Well,
I don't understand.
Like,
it's
my
clearly
religion
like a
is,
way to
Taoism.
signal which ones are approved.
Yeah, is there like so? It seems like there's a
a
hierarchy, which then seems like there's a
Obviously,
preference
Christian is top.
for
Now, is Mormon
some
different than Christian?
and not.
Oh,
others.
they're all tops.
Wait, no bottoms?
Maybe
Nah, there's gotta be
Mormons are
some
the bottoms.
You can't. Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
so give me the context.
So basically, they listed them Christian this, Christian that, Christian this, blah blah blah, and then it says Church of Latter-day Saints, which is Mormons for. Oh no, wait, it's called Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, which is Mormon for those of you who are not familiar.
Can you guys
And
see?
to be fair to the Mormons,
I
they would take
cannot read
offense
that.
to that.
That is way too small.
To being called Mormons, they don't like to be called Mormons.
Just
They like
let
to
me
be
see.
called Church
So
of Jesus Christ.
it's got
Latter-day
your
Saints.
designations. AN is agnostic. BH is butthole. BU,
Baha'i?
Buddhism, etc. And then it's got like all these Christian designations: Christian Baptist, Brethren, Catholic, Church of Christ, blah blah blah. And then at the bottom of the Christians under SA, I'd be pissed if that was my designation. Under that is CJ, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and everyone's freaking out because they're like, why aren't they listed as a Christian denomination?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So this is literally what everybody's freaking out about, Mitch. So now you got a whole bunch of people on Twitter going back and forth. Sorry, on X, going back and forth, going, "See, Mormons aren't Christian. You better stay away from them." And then like, we are Christian, of course we are. Well, it's not like we could add more into our name. We're called Church of Jesus. It's got the name Church. It's got Jesus Christ in the name.
Yeah.
Jesus is our logo. What the fuck?
We say we like Jesus, we believe in Jesus. And what I was talking about last night, because I was looking into it, I'm just like, because we've talked about Mormonism before and the differences and all that. But it's like, why do the Mormons want to be considered Christians? Like, because we accept Jesus. And I'm like looking into it, I'm like, all right, do you believe that God the Father, because they're like, we believe in God the Father, God the Son, the Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost. Like, do you believe that God the Father created all reality, like all fundamental reality? He created all of it.
And they're like, no.
Well, actually, yeah, that's what they said. There was a thread where somebody was like, hey, honestly, guys, like Mormons, can you help me understand what you believe about this or whatever? And then somebody said something, and I said, do you believe God the Father created all fundamental reality? He's like, no, we believe that reality like exists eternally,
You doing a fire drill over there, Mitchell?
My body charger was getting
Oh,
low.
oh, okay. Go get that charged up. Plug in.
It is plugged in. I won't tell you where.
Mitchell's just doing like what I used to do at the drills in school. Oh, that's what's going on over there.
I'm surprised you even heard it, Drake.
Why?
I won't say.
Because Mitchell's shitty mic?
No, I'm just surprised you could hear that sound.
What? I'm so confused by that.
You get it, Mitch, right? We know. We get it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so anyway, they believe existence is eternal and that there's God also in there. You just got
I
it.
just got it. I just got it. Thank you, John Anthony. Thank you.
There we go.
No, it's just
Alright.
I know that you've been to a lot of concerts.
Uh-huh.
A lot of like EDM and stuff, so I assumed that like your higher frequency hearing was a little lower. I don't understand why that would be considered racist. I just know a lot about you.
Drake, you still here, right?
Shut up.
That's our breakfast alarm. When bacon is being made.
Nice.
Is that how Jess tells
Every
you guys
time.
that breakfast is ready? She just lets the bacon start smoking.
She's like, I'm not gonna call you guys down anymore.
That's
My voice
actually-
is getting hoarse.
That's actually funny that you have a name for it. That means it happens so often that it's become a feature of your life, and you're like, "That's the breakfast alarm."
Yes. It's this specific bacon we get from our neighbor. It's like every time.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and then our
But
kids
that bacon
start-
from your neighbor is actually kind of
Then
good.
you want proof of the natural learning ability? Just make a loud sound around my children. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Breakfast is served again. I love it.
So, anyways, what else is there to say about the Mormon
No,
thing?
but we were saying the Mormons do not believe that God created like the fundamental reality.
He's like coexistent with it.
Right.
And then I looked it up, and so there's God the Father, and he was a man that perfected himself
Yeah.
to God status.
Yeah.
He has a
Ooh.
wife, the Heavenly Mother.
Woo!
Mary?
I don't know. I don't think it's Mary.
Oh, they don't give her a name.
Let's see. What
No,
is
because
the-
that would be weird.
What do they call God in
Mary would be
Mormon?
God's daughter. I don't
Do
know
they
if that's
call-
what they believe, but
Do they have a name for him? Like
who?
the Mormons for God.
God the Father.
Just known
They
as
don't have a name for him? They have a
Heavenly
name for
Mother.
Jesus.
That's it.
Jeff. So I was talking
Not-
to Jeff last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Big
they don't
Jeffy.
got. They
Do you
got
really
names.
think Jeff would approve of you doing that?
I thought it'd be like a cool name, like like Elron, even though Elron
Hubbard?
is it's a different guy.
So
but
okay. So who was the man who perfected himself into God?
Kal-El.
God the Father.
Kal-El.
That's his name?
Kal-El.
Is that? Are you making that up or
You don't know who Kal-El is?
no?
I
That's
cannot
Superman.
tell if you're serious. or
Superman? Oh, yeah. I don't know the lore of Superman.
not.
Do you know any lore?
I know the lore of.
Cameron knows some very fringe lore.
Yeah.
What is the name of the
Of Superman?
God
it's
in?
What's the name of God the Father in Mormon?
God the
What
Father.
if his name was Mormon?
God the Father is referred to as his name title Elohim. He is the supreme
Ah.
creator and literal father of the spirits of all mankind. Members of the church most commonly address him simply as Heavenly Fathers.
Heavenly Father.
Told
That's
you,
right.
he's got a name. Elohim.
Or so Elohim is God the Father, which that's weird.
Even
'Cause
though
isn't
Elohim
that
is
literally
plural.
what they called the Elohim
Yeah.
was like the
Yeah.
The-
But that's like aliens.
They're actually the sons of God.
They're like
Dude,
multiple.
I honestly, I gotta
And
say,
then-
my stream last night was pretty good because we went into a lot of this stuff. We talked about James Tabor and his whole thing about the translations, the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
mistranslations and all that. But what was I gonna say about that? Oh yeah, so they believe
Hey,
that
look, my
Look
breakfast
at that.
deliveries
There's
here.
breakfast. See?
Oh,
the
it's
alarm
steak
was
this time.
accurate.
Thanks, Jason.
Steak
That's why it went off twice.
Because somebody else was getting breakfast, and then it was time for Mitch's breakfast.
Smoothie and a Red Bull, really?
No coffee.
You put coffee in your smoothie, I thought, though.
Wait,
Put
why
Red
do you-
Bull in my smoothie.
Yeah. Why do you have
you've
extra?
got you put coffee in your Red Bull.
No, coffee or Red Bull would have mixed, but Red Bull could go in a smoothie. But I'm not going to do that today.
actual Red
That's
Bull?
how you turn into Elohim, okay? And then all of a sudden you begin these ideas that now you're the heavenly Father of all the spirits. So Jehovah is then Jesus Christ.
That's a different thing. Wait, is that what you're saying?
This is according to the AI overview of Mormonism, according to Wikipedia.
No way.
Jehovah is Jesus Christ, the Son of
way.
God, and the Creator who is the Savior. What?
That doesn't make any sense.
Hold on. So
This is
let me
why
get-
they aren't Christian on the Department of War's fucking
No,
checklist.
like, I guess it depends what you mean by Christian.
Okay. This would be like a Hindu, what do they call them?
Don't.
The Hindas, the Hindis. I think it's Hindi. The Hindis claiming that they're Christian because they have Jesus as one of their peoples.
It'd be like the
Also, the Muslims are also Christian. Don't get us kicked off the internet again.
yeah. I was gonna say something that's technically anti-Semitic.
Yeah, this is crazy. Okay, so in traditional Christianity, Jehovah represents the entire triune Godhead, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. In Latter-day Saint Mormon theology, Jehovah is strictly the name of the premortal Jesus Christ, acting under the direction of God, the Father, Elohim.
They're three.
Oh.
Jesus is not the same as the Father. They're two separate beings.
So that's the crux of it.
Well, and God,
That God
the
didn't
Heavenly Father
create.
was a man that became God.
Yeah, he didn't create reality.
I'm trying to hear that origin story.
But then I was reading about it, and they were like trying to, because it doesn't make sense. They're like, well, but he didn't create reality, so where'd he come from? They're like, well, if he was a man, because that was the question I had. I'm doing the Google AI thing, and I'm like, so if God was a man that became God, who created him? And they were like, yes, Mormon scholars have thought about this, and what they've concluded is that there must have been a father before him, and therefore a father before him, and a father before him, and it's an infinite regress.
Oh, nice.
It's like, fuck.
There's no solution. I love it.
It makes
Giselle
no sense.
says that's also the same belief as JW's.
Did she leave out a letter?
Jaws. You know the movie Jaws? The father of Jaws.
Yes, that's it.
So,
Yeah,
but
that's-
I would,
okay.
I, on the one hand, I get why the Christians say they're not Christian, because it comes down to they don't believe the Nicene Creed, and I'm like, that was made up in the fucking
First place.
couple
Which one's that again?
hundreds.
Yeah.
I believe
Nicene
in
Creed?
God, the Father, creator of heaven and earth. That one.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, no.
No. No. I
Maybe.
thought that was
Was it- was it-
God.
Who begot his only son? Something.
No, I don't think that's the creed.
Fact check.
That- yeah, go fact check yourself.
But what it comes down to, see what they're not saying, because they're like, you don't believe in the Nicene Creed, you don't believe in the Trinity, da da da. But what they're not, what the Christians aren't willing to say is like, you don't believe that humanity can't perfect itself, that we'll never be perfect, because that's what the whole Christian faith believes, and the Mormons don't believe that. That's the fundamental difference between them. Now, their idea of perfection is not real self-perfection, but they do have the idea that you can get better.
Yeah.
And Christians don't. They're like, no, fundamentally, it's only you do not deserve God's grace, and only through God's grace can you become perfect, and you can only become perfect by accepting God, and it's not anything you can do. And then, of course, you get a whole branches of Christianity going, well, you could do some things, and this, no, I literally, and then you get the Calvinists who are like, nah, it's already preordained. Some people aren't saved. So then it's like every Christian compared to the other one isn't a Christian. So it's so weird when
course.
they try to reject one and they're like, see, it's a common enemy. It's like, see, we're all together, Christians. And as soon as if the Mormons would announce, we're not Christian, you're right, we're our own thing, and we believe all the Christians have the wrong idea. You guys are fake Christians. We're the real ones.
Then
We're
they would
not
start-
like you. You guys are wrong. But they don't want to do that. And I looked it up. I was like, why don't they want to do that? And the AI response is, it's a strategy. They're like
strategy.
they don't want to be labeled a cult. They want to be accepted in the mainstream. So it's like a strategic point that, and they won't be aggressive about telling people that they're wrong. They'll just try to make you feel like, no, like we're Christians like you, and you should, and we're just like you, and you should come over here because look how nice we are. And then you get sucked in, and then you're like, oh, actually, you guys have the real version. You know, like that's the idea. So they won't be very blatant about it. So now this time is interesting because the conversation, because I haven't seen this happen before when this whole perennial debate comes up, where the Christians are like, look, why don't you guys just be honest about what you believe? Like, do you believe this? And now the Mormons are going like, no, we don't believe that. Here's what we believe. So it's kind of like opening it up a little even more.
Wow.
It's weird. It's real weird.
Wow.
That is crazy. So
I mean,
essentially, what you're saying is, if we got rid of the Mormons from Christianity and they just said, you know what, we're not Christians, then all the other Christians would basically be like the Sneetches and Dr. Seuss,
I don't know
the
about
ones with
those.
the stars, and
some
the
lore I
ones...
don't know. It's probably in my kid's book.
Again with the lore.
You guys don't know about the Sneetches?
Isn't this
I
a
don't remember that.
Dr. Seuss book?
Yeah. How do you
About
not
the
know about
Holocaust, though?
Sneetches?
Isn't it like the thing?
Dr. Seuss Sneetches. Here we go. I'm going to show you guys those.
To sneech his own.
Yeah, to Sneetch his own. Exactly. I know somebody in the comments knows about the Sneetches. Look at that. The ones with the stars on their bellies and the ones without. Right?
I haven't
And they
read that one.
go into this little machine over here and say, oh, you could get the stars on your belly. And then you could go back through the machine and get the stars removed from your belly, because they didn't want to be associated with the ones with the stars on their belly. And the ones with the stars on their belly didn't want to be associated with the ones without the stars. And then they kept like switching over and saying, I'm like you. And like, no, you're not like me. They just found any little small difference just to segregate themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was it.
So I'll tell you another interesting thing. I was reading a Destiny article, Terrence McKenna.
Oh, he's
like-
in Destiny?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Also, a side note, I was reading back through some like the really early ones.
Yeah.
And there's this one Benazir Bhutto, which I had read these a long time ago, but obviously I'm rereading it. And it's describing, this person saying like, I died and now I'm still here, and it's kind of weird, and then explaining, some more about the context of what they realized. And as I'm reading, I'm like, who is this person actually? So I looked it up,
Yeah.
and it was a prime minister of Pakistan, a woman, like the first female prime minister. And I started watching interviews about her life and everything. It was quite interesting. And then it turns out she was assassinated. I was like, when was she
Ooh.
assassinated? And it was like December 27th, 2007. And I look at the article, it's like December 30th, 2007. I was like,
Wow.
oh wow. It was interesting. Okay, so anyways, Terrence McKenna, he made this
What
really
is it?
cool point.
No wonder they
about-
came under such scrutiny.
Yeah. But again, it's like, what do you believe? Well, Jesus Christ came to the earth and da da da. And it said it in this book in a very vague way, and that's why I believe it. It's like here you're getting all this explanation. And honestly, I could care less whether it's really that person or not, because that's not even the point of what's being said. So if it's not even the point of what's being said, then why claim it is if it's not? What would be the value of that?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like an irrelevant point. I'll tell you another realization I had in a moment that I think you guys will like. But Terrence McKenna, so he was talking about the Bible, and it was just like in one little part. And he was making this point of, he said something about the Bible being self-contradictory. And he says, in the Bible, God says, don't eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? And yet, they eat it, right? And he's like, so God was telling them, don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But what is the Bible? It's literally a book that contains the knowledge of good and evil.
And it's made from trees.
True. But you see what I'm saying? It's a book it's a bunch of knowledge about what is good, what is evil. So in the book it tells you don't obtain the knowledge of good and evil for yourself. But the whole book is about trying to help you understand what is good and what's evil.
Yeah.
So it's actually self-contradictory. I'm like, dude, that's like such a good point. So then on my stream last night, I went into like more detail of that whole story,
Yeah.
the knowledge of good and evil, and then there was a James Tabor video about the Garden of Eden. And yeah, go
Can
ahead.
you elaborate too? Because share the James Tabor thing, but isn't there something about there also being a tree of life?
Tree of
in
Life,
there
yeah.
too?
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, like if you read the story objectively, okay, and you didn't already have the presupposition that God is this, the idea you have of it, right? Like if I told you, hey, on a certain night in December,
Ooh.
guy's gonna come down your chimney.
Oh.
He's gonna start putting little presents in your house. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's also making a list about your kids. He's watching everything your kids do.
Whoa.
He sees them all the time.
Okay, that's not cool.
And he's gonna come in there, he's gonna put some presents and say, good job, Johnny, I've been watching you. You're doing good.
Get this fucking creep out of my house.
Yeah, as a parent, would you be like, what the fuck?
Get this fucking creep.
But
out of my
because you already have the idea of it's Santa Claus, like the story seems like it's gives it a different context. So if
No.
you didn't have the context of what God is already,
Yeah.
and you read this story, and you don't even know what the words mean, and it's like, oh, Elohim, and you're like, what's that? Like the sons of God.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the sons of God, but what is God? Like God's like a really powerful person, like
Yeah.
they're like just a badass, right? And so you have these sons of God, and then he makes this point that the Garden of Eden, one way you could translate it, it's the actual translation is the Garden in Eden.
Okay.
Like it's actually the Garden in Eden. And then
Yeah.
now I thought, okay, maybe he's just saying that, but when you read through the story in Genesis, it's like, and then there's this garden in this area called Eden in between these two rivers. And
Yeah.
it's like a specific geographical place.
Yeah.
Not just like we know it was. Like, oh, that's maybe where it was. Like, no, in the way it's described, because as a child, my conception of it was they're describing the whole world. The Garden of Eden is the
Yeah.
whole world, but it's in the Bible. It's very explicit. It's a specific place.
Because I remember, later on in Genesis, then they start talking about these different tribes from like Cush and all that stuff.
Right. But
So
the
it's like,
point is,
wait,
at the
how did that get
beginning,
populated?
true. Where did they come from? Right. But the
And
point
how-
is, yeah.
And also too, you had Adam and Eve,
Well,
and
let's
then they
not
had
even-
two boys.
Wait.
Dude.
Wait.
And
Wait.
then how did
Mitch.
was
Wait.
that some incest?
Mitchell,
Is like
Mitchell.
incest literally baked into the foundation of the Bible?
Okay, Mitchell. Not only that. First of all.
Yes, it is.
Actually, that's so funny because I had a video that was suggested to me on YouTube, and it was this, I don't know, young guy, and he's like, so like he's like asking the question like, so where did all the other people in Genesis come from if Cain is now going to be marked for everybody else to know that he killed his brother? Like, where did all those people come from? And then like it's him again, and he's like, well, it's implied that all these other people
What-
existed.
Dude, it's funny though, because then you have the Bibles that are like, no, I am a literal Bible believer. Like I believe it. But
Yeah.
wouldn't that mean then you're like actually having to question that, and then you'd have to literally actually look at it and
Listen,
discern?
the only reason why incest is wrong is because we allowed sin into the world. But before that, we were innocent. We didn't know.
Even though,
Even though what? God allows it. He likes it. But
That's
now,
what the elite
if they had
thing
never
is.
committed original sin, they may have never even had children.
well, no, because why? What was the original sin?
That's the question.
What was it?
According to Christians,
Yeah.
disobeying God
Okay. So
or wanting to be like God.
no,
same thing.
disobeying God.
That's
we'll go
what
with that one because that's what
yeah.
it said in this video.
Yeah.
All right. He said that was the original sin. But before they ate from the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, which God commanded them not to, God gave them other commands too. And in fact,
Oh yeah.
do you know what the first commandment that he gave them?
Be fruitful and multiply.
Exactly. So they were already doing it.
But he might have just been saying grow some fruit and do some math. Do your math homework and grow
Your math homework.
fruit.
Do your fucking math homework.
He goes, be fruitful. Be
I'm
fruitful,
not
okay?
gonna raise no
Hold on.
dumbass kids who can't do no math.
Hold on. Be fruitful, guys.
Yeah.
Okay? Be
Yeah.
full of fruit. Make sure you have all the fruit in you. But also, see that tree over there? Don't eat that fruit. But be fruitful. Remember to be fruitful.
Don't eat that food.
Don't eat that fruit. Don't eat fruit.
Dude, what?
Don't eat some fruit,
What?
but be fruitful. They're like,
I mean, yeah, you just see it's a control device.
dude, it's a fucking like mind loop.
Yeah.
So okay, what was the point? So it's a garden in Eden. Okay? And then there's this part, dude, like maybe I should just show you because it's
Is this
so
like modern day Iraq, basically?
Probably.
Like I've heard it's either like somewhere in Ethiopia or somewhere in like Iraq area.
Probably.
I'll just show you real quick. Hold on.
It's in either Africa or the Middle East.
Somewhere over there.
It's between like
No, I thought it was
the
in like Salt Lake
Euphrates?
City, Utah, right?
right? Isn't it like the
Isn't it like in
Euphrates
Utah?
and Tiber or something like
Hold on,
that?
let me
What are the
Yeah, I thought it
rivers?
was like the Tigris and Euphrates River.
check this
Tigris?
out, okay? So
Tigris?
you're talking about look, the Lord God had planted a garden in the east in Eden.
Yeah.
So it's like not the whole thing is Eden.
Right.
So is the other part perfect or not? But check this part out. A river watering the garden flowed, it was separated, blah blah blah. Check this out. It winds through the entire land of Havilah where there is gold. The gold of that land is good. Aromatic resin and onyx are also there.
Okay.
Why the fuck are they telling us about the mineral resources of the area?
do
That's
you think?
so weird and like unnecessary to know in the context of the story.
The gold was good, Cameron.
Doesn't it?
That
Okay,
way
so
you are
doesn't
a
it look
slave to
like
mine gold for
doesn't
for
it
God.
look like Adam and Eve are basically like gardeners?
Yeah.
They're like day laborers, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they eat the fruit, they realize they're naked and they're
Yeah.
ashamed. And I was like, okay, so Elohim's is sitting over here watching Eve doing her gardening fully butt naked.
Yeah.
And then one day, how did he know they ate the fruit? Because
they got
one day
clothes on.
he sees them and they all covered up, and he's like, "Eve, why are you all covered up? What's going on there?"
What you wearing?
Yeah, like why? Are you,
It's the original
Take that
OnlyFans.
shit off.
yeah, I'm like, dude, it's just some like slimy slave master watching the nude gardeners.
Yeah.
You know, like and they're fucking they're gardeners. They're like they work in a garden. They have this. It's like a shitty fucking desert area, except this one place they have a garden there with lots of minerals and like resources and gold, and they've got these workers here, and then they're like, look, don't eat this. You can eat. So then they say, okay, when they eat the fruit, they say, oh, hold on, let me show you that part.
Okay.
It's like when you look
I-
at the
I was
context.
Pulling
Yeah.
that up. Let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Because I read somewhere that the imagery, or the way that it's written, because they're naked, nakedness represents slavery, right? And I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Did you ever watch American Gangster?
What's it about? Who's in it?
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington is in it.
I don't think so.
He's a black guy.
I know who he is.
Okay.
He like rises up to basically become a kingpin in somewhere in New York,
Yeah.
but then he gets a lot of hubris.
Well, he basically, yeah, he's like the heroin drug trafficker of Harlem, right? His heroin's the best heroin, better than all the Italians, which was a big deal at that time because the Italians ran the mob. Anyway, they show a scene in that movie where they're in the drug production facility in Harlem where they cut up the drugs, and all the women are naked. They're nude.
Hmm.
You remember that, Mitch?
Yeah.
Mitch remembers. That was his first time.
He remembers.
They're all naked. Wow, Aaliyah's really reposting this stream as many times as possible. She's like,
He's like, I want as many people to understand this shit as possible.
Let me repost it again. Anyway,
I just
She's
have
trying
to
to-
switch my headphones.
she's trying to
right?
get
I'm
3
still
weeks.
listening. 1 second.
She's already got 5 weeks. I don't know why she's trying to get more.
8 weeks for you, Aaliyah.
But anyway, all the women are naked so that they can't put any of the heroin in their pockets and run off with it.
There you go. So you can't hide any gold. Okay, so it makes sense why they would be naked, actually.
Yeah.
Other than the...
No theft.
Okay, so... It's just crazy when you actually read it, right? Let's see. What was the point I was going to get at?
Where the Garden of Eden is.
Well, so you
No,
were
it's-
explaining
oh,
like
no.
the setup
that
and
there's
then
gold. There's
the-
onyx. The gold was good.
but then the actual like finding of the tree. 'Cause
Oh, no, I remember what it was. I remember what it was.
Okay, because I'd heard Terrence McKenna talk about too. You know, there's a whole like Gnosticism thing with like the actual fruit of the tree was a mushroom. You know, who actually knows what it
He
was?
would say that. Okay.
It's like it was
so
just DMT, bro.
I'm trying to find the part after they say that they found it.
I'll let you look for that. Mitch, do you know what Amanita is?
Yes.
So you know how Amanita is like red and white.
Yes.
Do you know where it grows?
In the North Pole.
Well, no, but it does grow underneath Christmas trees, like the Douglas fir.
Oh yeah,
And,
that's the connection.
This part
Yeah.
right here.
And the
Oh, sorry.
reindeer eat it.
oh, what'd you find?
The Lord God said, "Behold, the man is become as one of us."
Us?
Yeah.
Us?
To know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent them. See, and Tabor was pointing out the way they write this, and they put that colon there. He didn't say this specifically, but he has his own translation that's like based on the original Hebrew. And you see how it says, and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever, colon, therefore the Lord God sent him. Right? But it doesn't make sense the way it's written, because it says the Lord God said, so all this is a quote, right? Does that make sense? This is a quote from what he said, and then suddenly it's telling you what God did.
Yeah.
But the way Tabor translates it, he's like, it's like there should be like an M dash there. Like,
Yeah.
meaning God's like, and the way he translated it isn't so, it's more like, I'm going to kind of caricature it, but it's kind of like, oh shit, they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and now they're going to know good and evil like us. We can't let them have the tree of life. It's almost like cut off mid-sentence. Like he's just like talking like, hey guys, like, oh, this is going to happen. Like it's like cut off mid-sentence. And then it says, therefore God did this. So even the way it's translated, it shapes the way you perceive it and conceptualize it. And you don't ever realize, wait, they're mad because they're slaves. What is is it some kind of technology?
The tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah. It's like, what does it actually do?
Maybe it's like, maybe
It's like writing.
the realization that like, hey, wait a minute.
But they took an action, though, you see?
Yeah.
They took an action. They ate this thing. And then he's
Yeah.
like, oh, shit, they're like us now. Now they know. Like,
Yeah.
almost like you have a Neuralink controlling you, and then you took it off, and now you can see, like, wait a second. Now I know what's good and bad. And now I'm going to look at this situation and say, I'm your slave. That doesn't make sense. I should be like you. Why am I the worker? And yeah, you're saying I have some nice conditions here, but like I'm looking at you and you've got like, all the resources are going to you. Like you've got like this crazy UFO technology or whatever.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
it looks more like a slave rebellion.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somehow they figured something out, whether it was a physical act, a technology, and then they're like equal. And
Yeah.
I don't even think the story is real. I think it's more symbolizing like don't disobey God.
Right.
Mhm.
And this may have been a story they told people back then because They were like seeing these gods and they just wanted to know, we're way above you. We created you. Yeah, we created you. Like, imagine if you had a slave plantation and you literally convince your slaves that you created them.
Well, I mean,
Well,
some of them did.
You know, and so like anytime that they would be like, hey, I don't really like the situation here, they're like, no, you don't make those decisions. And then the moment one of them might make the decision, you kick him
Banish
out.
him.
You get him out. And then you maybe get some new ones or something. And so like, why would there already be people out there? Because like maybe they've done it a bunch of times. And they're like, nope, that one didn't work. That one didn't work.
Imagine you're a parent and you have a bunch of kids, you know, and then you're like, I created you, so you have to listen to me. And then they start to realize that they too could also create kids. And then you're like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're exiled from my house. You can't come back here. No, no, no. That's it. That's what happened.
Also, why? Okay, man, I don't know if I want to rehash this, but the problem is that they disobeyed God, right?
Yeah.
On the surface, that's what people believe.
Yeah.
But what was the problem with disobeying?
Well, God told them not to.
Right, but they don't know right from wrong.
Yeah.
And in itself, why was it wrong to disobey? Like, for example,
First of all, hold on. That was a big assumption that you made there, that they don't know right from wrong. God
but they haven't
told
eaten
them,
from the tree of good knowledge of good
but
and evil.
God told them not to, so they should have known.
But they
That's
shouldn't.
just
But they
how I
wouldn't
feel.
know in the context of it's bad to do. It's either like I trust God and I do what He says.
yeah, that's it. It's that simple.
Okay, but why did God give us free will?
Well, is this
we can-
talking about free will though?
It doesn't. But that's what the Christian believes, right? Because I'm like, well, hold on. Why did God give him a choice? Why did He even put the tree there?
To see if they would make the right choice.
Right. So in other words, because and if you go to C.S. Lewis, he says if the tree wasn't there, they wouldn't have a real choice. And love without choice is meaningless. And I'm like, okay, so it's about we have free will so we can choose. So in the beginning though, what did God want us to do? Just
Choose.
follow Him? But it's not, but what's the context of the choice? So from here on out, all the time, we just trust Him. We don't make any decisions on our own. We don't make any choices ourselves.
Yes, and if you accept that, then you can just read the Bible and then you become Christian.
Listen,
If you don't, shame on you. You're
then you might
banished.
become Mormon. You know, it's interesting because to me, whenever you use a phrase like it wouldn't be a real choice, like the C.S. Lewis thing, it wouldn't be a real choice if the tree wasn't there. That's like it to me, it reads like a movie, like it's an after justification so that it can sound romantic, you know.
Mhm.
It sounds like, yeah, wow, because it wouldn't be a real choice. Man, I'm glad they included that part in there. It's like, what the fuck, this is your life actually. Like, this isn't a fucking movie. Like, sure, it sounds like a beautiful story, but actually think about it. Like in the story, as a story, okay, great metaphor, understood, perfect. But as your real fucking life, like, don't you have some fucking questions?
Well, but Drake, it's all about like I want to not take responsibility.
Well,
I basically want someone who can take responsibility for everything, and I will just follow, and I will be a good boy.
well, it's a nice story.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Mitch. But the logic of the story is that you shouldn't take responsibility, right? Like, which reinforces what you're saying. God didn't want you to take responsibility for your choices, because if God wanted you to take responsibility for your choices, He would have told you all the knowledge so that you could make the choice. So it's weird because they're saying it wouldn't be real choice if we didn't have like a bad option to choose. But it wouldn't be a real choice if we didn't know why it's a bad option. That's not a real choice you're making. You're making a blind choice. You see what I'm saying? Like if I put in front of my kids a shiny, sharp knife, and then I put, I don't know, something that's not interesting looking in front of them, and they choose the shiny, sharp knife, and I'm like, that was wrong. Like, why did I put them there? And why, knowing that they don't understand, and why don't I teach them about what these things are first, so that when I give them the choice, I can see if they make the choice based on, because like, why would you choose to hurt yourself if you didn't know? So then you might say, well, that's why they had to fall. And it's like, well, they didn't have to fall, because God could have just known that they didn't have enough knowledge, and he could have taught them over time.
Unless God wanted to enslave them to ensure the gold kept flowing.
Yeah, unless the whole thing's
food
bullshit and it's actually that. It's actually just, no, it was slaves kind of realizing something that, you know, they decided. It was like an act. It wasn't even a physical thing they ate. It was just one day they start talking to each other, or maybe somebody comes in from the outside and says, "Hey, you realize these guys are just enslaving you, right?"
Isn't that this the serpent apparently?
Yeah, you realize they're just being enslaved, and like these guys are just taking all this stuff you're making back, and they don't give a fuck about you. They're just trying to control and enslave everybody, and they want power. And like, you don't realize like you're actually equal to them. Like, you're the same as them. If you would just decide for yourself what is actually good and bad yourself, and not what they say is good and bad, because they're telling you it's bad to do anything they say not to do, which is how you control a slave. Like,
Yeah,
right?
Cam, did you ever look into the whole Paradise Lost by John Milton?
I know about it. I haven't
For a
read it.
while, Professor Jang was talking about it,
Yeah.
saying that it's like the code of like the secret societies.
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually read. I mean, I only listened to part of it on his episode, but it's like this poem, and I'll just read the preview. Published in 1667, it recounts the biblical story of the fall of man, the temptation of Adam and Eve by the fallen angel Satan, and their subsequent expulsion from the Garden of Eden.
Quick, just real quick. Did you say 1667?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. But yeah, it kind of gives an alternate view of it. I don't know enough about it to speak wisely on
I don't
it.
either, but I bet you it's what forms the lore. Because even that point, okay, check this out. Check this out.
That the serpent
you guys,
is Satan.
you guys know, and you in the chat, you can tell me. Do you know that Christians, if you were to say, why did God give us a choice? Because if he's going to set up the logic that I just want you to obey me, then why even give us a choice, right? You know that the response will be because he gave us free will. And you say, that's fine, we had free will, but then why put the tree there? Well, because free will isn't really free if there's nothing wrong that you can choose, right? But why does it matter if we have free choice in this? Because at the end of the day, he just wants us to obey him anyways. He doesn't want us to actually choose something else. He wants us to choose this. Why does it even fucking matter if we have choice? They say, well, but without choosing us, without giving us free will, we wouldn't choose to love him. We wouldn't choose to obey. I'm like, okay, where in the Bible does it say God gave us free will?
Oh boy. Okay, now I gotta look that up.
Yeah, can you look it up for us, Drake? Because my what I know, a lot of these people, then the trip switch in their brain goes to Satan came in and fucked with it.
Yeah, no, but my question is, where in the Bible does it say God gave us free will, and he gave us free will so we could freely choose him? Or choose to obey, whatever.
What you got there, Drakey? You screen share?
AI says there's no explicit mention of free will in the Bible.
Right.
Reddit says some person's like, I'm looking on Bible Gateway and I don't see anything that says free will. Only in Exodus 35:29, all the Israelite men and women who were willing brought to the Lord free will offerings for all the work the Lord through Moses had commanded them to do.
But even not just the words free will, like, does it say the words free will? I'm saying, where does it explain in the Bible that God gave us free will or free choice or the ability to choose so that we will choose of our own choice to obey? Where does it explain that whole idea? Because maybe the word free will isn't in there.
Deuteronomy 30:19 through 20. This is the, I guess, NIV version. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witness against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live, and that you may love the Lord your God. Listen to his voice and hold fast to him. For the Lord is your life, and he will give you many years in the land he swore to give to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
So it's like way after the fact.
Check this.
But it's still not even explaining I gave you free will to choose.
Yeah, so I said, where in the Bible does it explain the idea that we have free will? And this right here is pretty assumptive, but it says the first choice. In Genesis 3, God commands Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They are given the freedom to obey or disobey, and their choice to eat the fruit introduces sin into the world. I mean, this is like the classic view.
But you see, it doesn't say, though,
They are
that
given the
God gave
freedom.
us free will to... This is like an interpretation
Right.
of... It's not explicitly explaining, like, okay, and this is the part where God decided he gave us free will, and here's... Like, these are all interpretations people have placed on top of it to make it make sense.
Yeah.
So, you see what I'm saying? Like, for example, where does it explain that Satan is a fallen angel in the Bible? Where does it explain that?
It does not.
It doesn't. So where does that come from? It comes from something else, like maybe Paradise Lost, for example. That's why I brought this up. Like,
hang on. Here we go, Cam. And the Lord God commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat it, you will certainly die. You are free, Cameron. He says you're
That
free.
does not sound like
but
free
that's not the
will.
same thing as I've given you the capacity of free will.
Yeah.
That's just I made some rules, and I'm allowing you to eat that, and you cannot eat that. So I can see how the interpretation comes about from that, but it's not explicitly saying, and then when God created us, he gave us the capacity to choose.
Yeah. You know, okay, so here's what's
Also,
interesting.
why should we not eat that fruit?
Because you will certainly die.
Why, though? Why will we die if we eat it?
Because I'm God and I said so.
'Cause- yeah, exactly.
But well, hold on, but think about it for a second. It'd be one thing if it was like it's a poisonous fruit. Okay?
No,
but
that's not the
what
point,
actually is it that causes them to die?
that they disobeyed God and he's going to
But isn't it his decision that makes it so?
he
so
also
he's
has
like-
free will.
So if he had told him up front, you will certainly die because if you disobey me in this, I will make it so that you won't die.
If you disobey me, I will make it so that you will die.
Sorry, yeah. I will make it so that you will die if you disobey me. Now it's like, okay, now I understand. This is the reason why this makes me die is because the act of disobeying, you will then decide to take away eternal life from me. Right? It's not an actual consequence of eating it per se. It's the rules you set up that I'm not actually free to choose this.
Also,
like,
how would they
you will
know
punish me.
what death is if no one's ever experienced death?
Yeah, it doesn't see again. That's not explained either. See, but it would be different if he was like, look, this fruit, if you eat it, what'll happen is you'll lose your connection to understanding how things work. You'll have a limited perspective. You won't understand, so you're going to end up making decisions that don't make sense. It's going to cause you ultimately to die.
And then wouldn't
Right.
Adam be like, wait, can't we just like chop it down and remove it then? Like, just in case I'm really hungry one day and I forget what you told me. You know?
And God's like, no, it has
no.
to be there always because you have to constantly be thinking about that
I need
and
you
constantly be
tempted.
making that choice.
That's right.
So it's, you see, the problem is it's this idea that, well, you have to make the choice to obey. But if I knew what the full consequence was really, just saying I'll surely die, okay,
Right.
why would I die though? You never told me. So now if someone comes along and says, hey, you're not going to die if you eat it, that's not true. And I'm like, well, God never explained why I would die.
God sounds
or
like
not.
he sounds like an impatient parent that's like, because I said so.
Right.
Dude,
Fuck
Mitch,
you.
Mitch, I talked to some parents recently, and I was explaining to them, like, you know, the difference, how like wealthy parents will explain things to their kids, whereas the parents who are, you know, they're poor or whatever, or they grew up in households where they came from not money, how they won't explain things to their kids. And I was given the example, I'm like, like the stove, it's hot. And, a wealthy parent might say to their child, like, hey, here's why you shouldn't touch the stove. It'll burn you, it'll hurt, you won't be able to use your hand for, however long it's still in pain, etc. And I said, and the homes that don't come from wealth, what they say is, and then the mom goes, touch it, see what happens. And I was like, oh, okay.
Damn. Yeah, some spite. It's spite,
Yeah.
really. It's all
But
spite.
But isn't that the same?
Well, it's the idea that you can only learn from experience, and you can't
Right.
learn from someone explaining it to you.
Right. Well, because they don't have the words to explain it. They don't
Right.
know how to.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have that vocabulary. The vocabulary of not just, oh, here, let me explain what happens if you get burned,
Dude.
but also the vocabulary that how to explain something to a child
Right.
so that they can understand it. What were you gonna say, Mitch?
What were we reading recently where we were talking about the definitions of words over time and how the word definitions, I think, Cam, it was when we were talking about the quantum physics thing. And you're saying
Yeah.
like they were acknowledging that even the definitions of the words were going to evolve over time and like the context would evolve. So, I mean, that's how I look at this is whatever exactly happened, if it's completely made up or there was some situation where it was like some fucking controller race manipulating some farmers in the field to get them to keep bringing them the goods, that was where collectively we were at. And then that caused a shitload of consequence for the next thousands of years. And now we're here. So now we can either keep trying to relive the past and try and time loop. Oh no, we just gotta go back to Eden, guys. We just gotta go back. It's like, no. That all got us here. Now what the fuck are we gonna do with it?
Yeah, it's a good point, because if we realize we're doing things that don't make sense, the problem is that story is still embedded in the collective mind, which is
Yeah,
like,
and
remember,
through
you shouldn't
trauma-based mind
decide.
control.
Yeah, you shouldn't remember what happened when you tried to make decisions yourself and choose what was best or what wasn't best. Like, remember what happened? You got fucked up, and it's like, but we're already in that state. And it's like, it creates this point where like, but I will never be able to change this. So you go insane for a moment and you're like, someone's got to fix this.
Yep.
So then you submit even more to not changing anything. And if we could just get people to realize that God doesn't exist, right? There's nothing there coming to save us, then we would go, oh, we have to fix this, because we're like heading towards this total collapse where there's going to like, it's like, that's actually the fall, is the not wanting to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
Otherwise it's a time
we
loop.
could forgive them in the past. Like, yeah, I guess they just didn't know enough. They didn't understand. They didn't have clarity on the point, but now we can have clarity. Like, it's all here. There's no
Right.
excuse anymore.
Right. Exactly. All of that got us here. But now we have this process that we can
Yeah,
walk so we can actually
yeah.
equalize.
I want to tell you this other point. I think it's pretty cool.
Tell me.
So for everybody listening, you guys, myself, like, do you ever get this point where you're like, especially newer people coming in and reading Destiny and so forth, and they hear the stories and they're like, but how can I know any of this for sure, right?
You can
And
tell me.
well, yeah, but like, there's this idea that like, I'll never be able to know, right? But if you actually study Destiny and you look at it and you take it seriously and you apply it, within it, Bernard is explaining to you, you actually can know for yourself. The
Yeah.
problem is like, we're still participating in the mind. So the mind is preventing us from seeing reality actually. But if you do the process, you do the forgiveness, there's this one point where he says like, you'll have full access to everything. Which makes sense if you think about it logically. If the mind is the filter and you can stop participating in that, then you'll be able to see everything. Now, I'm not trying to impose an idea of what that means or what that looks like to see everything, because immediately the mind will try to imagine what that's like, and it's not possible because it's just mind projection stuff, right? But like, if you look at it from the perspective of, well, how can I know what's really going on in reality if I'm just stuck in my mind? But if you were to not follow that and you were to support yourself to be here physically, you would be in physical reality and you would actually see what's going on. You would understand what's going on. So it's not about, can I verify all these stories? It's like, can I verify what's actually going on in reality? And that is available to each person.
This.
Yeah. So
This
you
is
know what
it.
I'm saying?
This is like not understanding the mind and then getting sucked into it and then keeping on participating in it is the beginning of this. It's a lack of education
Right.
going into inequality, so on and so forth. Whereas what we're talking about, the tree of life, is destiny is the education of it. But then the natural outflow, and where sometimes people will trip up and fall, is then when you actually then start taking it into then equality and then into the certainty and then into the sharing and the responsibility. Because over time you do enough of that after 7, 14, however many years, then it's like, oh, I actually do have direct access. And you prove it to yourself.
Right. And again, the moment somebody goes, oh, I want to get that access, because they imagine it's like some wonderful, blissful thing. It's like, no, see, you're still projecting. The point is, will you just be honest with yourself, right? Like, have you ever sat down and just breathed for a bit, close your eyes and breathe, and just ask yourself, like, what's really going on inside of me? Like, your mind will say something. You're like, well, I'm afraid. You're like, oh, that's interesting. What am I afraid of? And then like look at it. And then if you start to get like a lot of fear building up, just like breathe again and be like, okay, that's interesting. That's my mind. It's afraid of something. What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of looking at? What am I, whatever all the things are coming up, and actually just sit and like look at that. The religious person never does that. And neither does the atheist or anybody else. I'm saying they don't actually look at the self-honesty of what's going on inside of them and like really not just accepting the thought, but really looking at it. You see what I mean? And then obviously if you have the context of destiny, you would know what to do about it. You know what to do with that. So it's not that you couldn't figure it out on your own, but you're not going to, because you don't realize the first fundamental point of like, whatever your mind is telling you isn't the truth, but it is what you've accepted. So if you were just to sit and breathe and look at that and be honest with yourself and not say, oh no, I'm fine, I'm not afraid, because I don't feel afraid right now. Like, no, actually sit and start going like, okay, just ask yourself, do I really know who I am? Like, if you were to sit and breathe for a minute, do I really know who I am? Immediately a doubt will come up. Immediately, right? Which just shows you, like, you've been suppressing that the whole time. Why don't I know who I am? What if I don't ever figure it out? Like all these thoughts, and then like maybe some fear comes up, emotions and feelings and so forth. And you just look at that, and then you can just start forgiving those things. Like, imagine if you actually did that.
Dude, I remember like 2 or 3 months into getting TechnoTutor and then talking to both of you guys and then having a couple chats with Avery. Then Avery's like, he gave me this playlist of Bernard. So I was listening to a ton of these. And I'm like, I'm comprehending probably 10%, but cool. This seems helpful. And in one of them, so I was laying in bed. I couldn't fall asleep. And it was the 7-year journey to nothingness one. And at the end, I still couldn't sleep. I was like, fuck. And then I was like, well, and I just spoke out loud. I was like, okay, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to believe I can't fall asleep. And then I just like said another one and then another one. And I was like bouncing all over. But then like 20 minutes passed of me just forgiving myself out loud. And I was like, this is the most insightful thing I've done in my whole life. Yeah. Like I had just done enough TechnoTutor as well. So like my brain was starting to fire a little differently because it felt like a layer getting pulled off and then another layer and another layer until it like hit this moment of actual peace within myself of like, holy shit, like I can actually forgive myself. This is really cool. And then just basically every day since then, I've had that as a tool in the tool belt, so to say.
I was just seeing, based you explaining that, I was just seeing another piece of like for our group. It's like, I think the mind has this desire to try to project already being perfect and feeling like you have to project already being perfect as the final result of something to prove that what you're presenting has value. And so here's the trap with that. Then we're no longer honest with ourselves. Now it's like, nope, I'm good, and I have to pretend to be perfect. And now I can no longer actually be honest with myself, because if I'm honest with myself, I would admit I'm not there yet, right? But if I don't project that, people won't believe that what I'm saying is valuable and like what I'm presenting is real, because I have to prove that it's real. And it's like, no, you don't have to prove you're the final result. You just have to do it. And then speak about how much value there is in it and like what's the point, not pretending to be the end result. Like you're already the result of it. It's kind of like, it's like if I am taking piano lessons and I'm improving, I'm like, I'm the result of these piano lessons. Like, well, you're not a concert pianist yet. I'm like, right, I understand that, but I'm better than I was before because I'm doing this. And also the context of what does it mean to be better? Like in the Mormons, right? Their idea of perfection is you perfectly follow God's commandments so you can become a god in the afterlife. And I'm like, I don't care about that. That's just, you're really just wanting to have some kind of power and control over reality.
Yeah.
You're actually separate. And that's actually another point about the Mormons, is they believe there was existence and there was God. And it's God's just molding existence. But it's not God is one and equal with existence. It's actually a separate point, that it's God's right to control reality. And so you can learn to do that too. So it's just the survival self-interest point taken to its extreme. Right? Scientology is another version of that, where it's more scientific and psychological rather than believing in a god or something. But it's the same basic concept. And that's not what this is about. We're not here to control reality. We're here to support each other. Firstly, to realize reality is just unfolding because of who we are and our starting point and what we're accepting and allowing. And if we all change that and then took actions based on that, things would change. Like, we're already affecting reality, but we're doing it from the starting point of wanting to control it just for our own individual benefit. Not like, I'm here to be a part of reality and guide reality as myself into a form that's best for everyone, equal and one. So that's the starting point. That's what has value, not how far you've gotten in your process. Because if you're sincerely doing the points and forgiving yourself, it doesn't matter how far you've gotten. Like, no one has a right to judge you. Well, you're not there yet. If someone's standing in judgment of it and they're not even doing the point, and they're like judging you according to, well, you're not Mark Zuckerberg yet. It's like, so you value what Mark Zuckerberg is doing? You would want to change places with him? It's like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay, so then you're not hearing what I'm saying. So now I have to like breathe, and I have to look at, what is this person participating in? Imagine if you could breathe and you could really in that moment like see, what is this person participating in? And is there a way I can support them in this moment to question that starting point? Because if they can question it themselves, then they can say, oh, like, for example, you could find like, what's the root of it? And it comes down to, I'm afraid of dying. Let's say you could see that's what it was. And they even say, yes, that's really it, you know? And of course they can say whatever, and they might be lying or they might be hiding something, but let's say you can actually just see it very clearly. And imagine supporting them. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to fear dying. Oh. And then you can ask them, like, so do you still fear dying? And they're probably going to be like, yes, I do. It's like, why? And then, like, you see how you could then go further and further and further. Now, the problem is, if it's only you doing this for them, you see that it's only going to go so far. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to do it in 5 minutes. It's going to be like something they have to take on, and really it's going to take a lot of time, right? The point I'm trying to get across is, we don't have to project this idea of perfection. It's like, here's where we're going, here's our starting point, and here's how we all get there. And as long as I'm sincerely applying myself in my process, and you are, and everyone is, and if someone isn't, we have to find a way to support that person to realize it. That's all I'm trying to do right now, is just, I'm seeing this point that perhaps we feel like we have to already be the example of perfection, not realizing that the process itself is the perfection.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's in the actual doing it that is, because of the starting point of it. So you have the starting point and you're bringing it out. That's where the perfection is. And that's actually what's valuable. And I really just want to encourage everybody to, if you felt that way or participated in that, like, take some time to sit and breathe and look at it and do some forgiveness on the point. Because in doing that, if this applies to you, okay, let's say you are suppressing something because you're wanting to tell yourself you're perfect because you're afraid if you're not, then nobody will listen to you, whatever. If that applies, then if you would take that moment to forgive all those points, then in that moment you're doing that, you're doing the point. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, holding on to the idea of perfection is not doing it. You say, but if I admit it to myself, then I'm admitting I'm not doing it. But in the admitting of not doing it, and in the forgiving of what you were holding on to, and like letting go of the forgiving the judgment of not doing it, you're actually doing the thing. And now you're in the point. You see, it's like,
and then from that, the opportunity will always show up. That's what's been also very helpful over the years of doing this, is sometimes you don't see the way through, but then you do the forgiveness, and then the way through will always present itself. Yeah. It's so cool. Yeah. It's like you're always creating. You're a creator. We're all creators. But in the doing it, like you're saying, like the opportunity will emerge, or maybe you got to make a phone call. Like, you'll see the next point, and then you take action on it, and then it always opens up. It's liberating.
And isn't that kind of the point in one context of what Bernard's saying, of like, you have access if you're self-honest. So full access, you could project that as some later thing, or you can just say, like, right now, if you're in the moment of self-honesty, you have full access to what to do next. But it doesn't come if you're still participating in fear or doubt, because you're limiting yourself from just seeing what needs to be done, because you're afraid perhaps of what needs to be done. But even if that comes up, you can forgive that. And I think this is the weird thing about it, is we want to believe the fear as if it's telling us something real, not realizing if you let go of the fear, you won't feel that way anymore. And the thing that seems scary now won't seem scary because you're not participating in fear anymore. And you're not going to see to do something that doesn't make sense. Because if you're seeing something that doesn't make sense, that's clearly not self-honest. Right? Like, if it's go protest a data center and like start a war, like that, how is that best for all? Like, you would have to still apply common sense within the point and look at it. Like, well, I should just go fight these people. It's like, okay, where is that coming from? Like, check it first, right? And then, because we have a group, you can go to someone else and be like, hey, here's what I've really come to, and I want to check and see, does this make sense to you? And the only thing they can really do for you is go, well, okay, if I look within myself, now am I reacting to anything? Okay, I have to clear that first. And then what they're saying, am I reacting to that? Am I jumping to a conclusion? Am I trying to force something, like, or can I support that person by just looking at what are they participating in? Or I'm like, actually, that makes perfect sense, right? And another thing, because I saw Valley's comment there, the problem with the idea that you have to be the end result is if you project that and act like you're that, but you're suppressing things and you're not being honest with yourself, then the problem is you'll mislead other people, because they don't know yet and they'll think, oh, that's perfection. But then the contradictions are still going to show up. So you see, it creates a consequence, which isn't to say you should go around being depressed. It's like, well, I'm just being honest. I'm depressed. Like, no, that doesn't make sense either. That's not real honesty. Because if you were really being honest in that moment of depression, you would sit and you would breathe and you'd be like, why am I participating in this? So I don't know how to explain that where it doesn't seem like a contradiction to someone in their mind. It's not about pretending to be the end result. It's about being the thing in the moment and doing it moment by moment and not trying to be something. And if you're doing it in the moment, like let's say somebody says something to you, just in the moment, breathe, do the forgiveness within yourself, look at the point, support the person, support them as if you are speaking to them as the actual who they are and who you are, which is the same. which is beyond your personality. Right? And it's like, well, that sounds easy to do, but it's not that easy. Like, I get it. Like, that's why it is a process, because it's not as simple as you just, nope. See, so don't project it. And then you're going to make a mistake and there's a consequence, and then you're going to learn from that anyways. So you don't have to have fear about it.
To add on all this is, I somehow realized this early on, I don't know, from combination of eQual Audio, talking to everybody, doing my TT every day, that there's a certain volume that's going to happen, like volume meaning like an amount of things that happen. So for example, once I had a couple good writings of self-forgiveness, I was like, okay, this is clearly helpful. Within myself, I can now see when I do this like 100 more times, let's say I go the next 100 days reading Heaven's Journey. Oh, I'm really going to be fucking different. When I can do 100 more rounds of self-forgiveness, but also now within the sharing. Because we're talking about this, like part of the process is now you share. You have to get out there and share and bring the tools to people. So it's like, it can be kind of intimidating early on, because you're like, I talked to 3 people and it just bombed. But just within yourself go, no, envision who's the next 100 people I'm going to talk to. You still got to go one at a time. So don't freak yourself out. Like, I got to talk to 100 people and you overwhelm yourself. But within yourself realizing, hey, if I talk to 100 more people, and after each time I'm present with myself, I can forgive myself, I can learn, I can cross-reference, and then go talk to the next one, then go talk to the next one. It's like, you may suck for the first 15. But at a certain point, you do that 100 times, you get good at doing that, you're going to get really fucking good at it. It's like with our podcast. We're almost on episode 300.
And we're not good yet.
And we're still not good. It's fine.
It's fine. It's okay.
But
we're better though.
It's the making peace with the volume it's going to take to do it, and then just doing it.
Mitch, can I say something just like to that specifically about you for just a moment? Because I remember when you first got, I don't know, I guess it would have been like you had been in the group for just a little while, but I remember coming to visit you. And you were on this.
Was this in the Minneapolis apartment?
I guess it would
or
have
in
been
the suburb house. The resort,
I don't
as you called it.
remember. I don't fucking remember. but
Okay.
but I do remember coming to visit you, and you were like, yeah. And then I go for a walk, and I listened to these audios, and you were listening to Equaf audios, and you're like, yeah, I'm on like number 100 and something. And I was like, how are you that far into these audios? And you're like, I listen to them every day, and I listen to like multiples a day, and I was like, what? How are you doing that? Because to me, at that time, it was just like, it was so outside of what I could understand at that moment, right? That like it was hard for me to listen to, right? But you were just like, hey man, like I'm serious about this. Like I'm gonna listen to these things, even if I don't really understand it. I'm trying to understand it.
Well,
and
because what I would do too, because I was always looking for like what new things can I put into my TT.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this shit seems pretty fucking helpful, and so I would listen to the audio, and I'd be on a walk, but I'd have my notes open.
Yeah.
And you could give me one Equaf audio, and I could make a list of 50 words and phrases for my TT. And I'm not saying everyone has to do this, but like you can. If you're going to obsess on something in your life, obsess on this and obsess on then, because I remember too, early on, Avery told this to me, maybe Cameron did, one of them. They said, if you don't put it through your TT, you haven't learned it yet. And for whatever reason, it clicked enough where I was like, oh, that makes sense, because if it's just going in my mind, it's going to be in my conscious mind, and I need this shit in my subconscious mind. Or unconscious, whatever. I was like, I want it fucking in here, not just where I'm thinking about it, where I'm going to forget it. So I just chose to obsess over put fucking everything through my TT. And I was like, what else can I put through? So I'm, taking books and all that. But then I was like, oh, the Equaf stuff. And then I would be like, I want to understand, let's say, consciousness. So I'd be like, I understand consciousness. I understand how to change consciousness. I know how to change consciousness. And I would like put all that to the point where, like Jess would sit there and watch me do my TT, and then she would start comparing herself to it. And she's like, you're doing like a list of 100, and my remediation is too big on it. And so I had to learn too how to support people because I realized not everyone's going to be like that. But I'm telling you, everyone, the volume, just look at what you're doing and just dial it up a notch. You know, whatever that means in your self honesty, whatever that means to you. Because some of you guys don't even use your fucking Techno Tutor every day. So get yourself to use the thing every day. And some of you are like using it a lot. But I'm gonna say,
the
even
reason
more.
why I was bringing it up, Mitch, is because of the point of like volume. Like you actually take that seriously within the things that you see matter. You're like, I'm gonna put a lot of like I'm actually going to dedicate myself and put a lot of volume to this, even starting out. And to the point that Cam was bringing up earlier with trying to be the end result. Like I can see this point of not within image, I'm just saying in general. I can see this point of the idea of wanting to be the end result and then projecting that you have to be that end result for others to follow you. And you don't have that, Mitch. You're like, I'm just going to do it. Hey, look, I'm better. And you're very open about like, I'm not the end result, but look, I've just been doing it just now. And look at the result that I got. Look at how much better I am. And that in itself, if you're projecting that you are the end result or you have to be the end result, what that inevitably leads to is the recognition that you're not the end result. And so then you're like, in a sense, creating a barrier where you cannot share, you cannot do the thing because you're like, I'm not that. And then you feel like a failure. And then you're like, fuck, I'm not that thing. And everybody's expecting me to be that thing. And nobody's fucking expecting you to be that thing. You're just projecting that. And it's like, it doesn't even matter actually, because the point is, how would you get there in the first place? Is you'd have to do it. Right. So just do it. And don't worry about getting to the end result per se. Just do as much as you can, because you can recognize that you are getting better in every moment. Right. And if you don't,
well, and then with enough volume, then now you have that on your side. So it's not to say you need that to move yourself, but it does help then if you're like, yeah, well, I've been moving myself every day for the past 6 months and I've created this, and let me tell you a story about this other person, and let me tell you a story about someone else in the group. And that is magnetic enough to get someone else to want to join in.
Can I give a perspective on what I consider it means to get better in this context?
Yeah.
So I immediately what comes up, and you guys tell me if like what you see within this, is two things. One, which is like a skills development of being more effective at communicating and expressing yourself with others, and expressing yourself in the context of helping them understand why they should do this, why they should be a part of this, why they should take the self-responsibility to do the second thing, which is to take responsibility for yourself as your mind and do the forgiveness so that you can express yourself as who you really are, which is life. So you have to be doing both simultaneously. If you just try to get better at the skill of expressing yourself, but you're not simultaneously doing the other part, that's where it leads to what Drake was saying, where you eventually get stuck, because you're like, okay, I'm perfect, and now I just got to get better at expressing it. But then you're like, but I'm not doing the thing that I'm expressing people should do. So this is beyond self-improvement and self-betterment, because it's not you are getting better if you're applying yourself within learning to express yourself effectively, but it's in the context of expressing yourself as the value of what you're actually doing. You can't express yourself better fundamentally if you're not within yourself, like, let's just say, deconstructing all of the illusions that are within you, your self-dishonesties. So as you remove self-dishonesty, layers of that, then you're more clearly able to stand as an expression of, oh, I am life and I'm expressing myself as that. But if I don't do the removal of the self-dishonesty and I just try to assume I'm already that, or I have to pretend to be that, and that'll make me more like persuasive, it's not going to work because you're not actually doing the thing. So it's like getting better at expressing while also removing the self-dishonesty. So it's like you're growing and you're, well, I don't want to say you're not, it's not a dying in the sense of literally, it's in the sense of the illusion part is dying.
Yeah. Well, and because you said, yeah, it's not self-improvement, it's not self-betterment, it is self-perfection. I mean, we are defining it as we go. This is what self-perfection is. And the other big part is the starting point and the end point. In terms of the end point, let's say, it's like, what are we optimizing for? Which is creating a world that's best for all, creating a system that's best for all. Because that's the other big part, is sometimes people get into techno-tutor because they're like, it's going to help me improve. And you're kind of thinking, oh, it's going to optimize me for basically for being more effective at surviving. Whereas what we're saying really, and how we will know the job is quote unquote done, is when it actually is manifest throughout the entire world. Is we're optimizing for best for all.
Yeah, that's our starting point.
Right.
Right. So obviously not everyone's going to have that starting point and they're going to make a choice at some level. But another thing is, like, when I look at it, when I talk about the illusion dying, like, look at the system that we live in. And isn't it pretty obvious all the illusions are dying? Like, all the illusions about our system being like an actual stable thing that's going somewhere positive, or that is even able to continue to sustain itself, all those illusions are falling away. And so if you're only believing that you yourself are the thing that's literally just a product of that dying illusion,
Well,
then at a certain point, there's not going to be anything to hold up this illusion. And that's, so it's like a simultaneous thing that's happening right now. All the illusions are falling away. And when I say falling away, I just mean like they're not working anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, like what I'm seeing right now with the Mormon thing we were talking about, Mormons versus Christians. All they're both doing is exposing how retarded all of the ideas are. Because you're like, you guys aren't even actually talking about the real thing. Like, what's your starting point here? If you wanted to be clear about your starting point, the Mormons just want to control reality. They want to be gods. That's why the Christians don't like them. But the reason the Mormons don't like the Christians is because the Christians are like, no, you're never going to be perfect. And so even though they're not directly saying that, that's what it's exposing. Like, they have no real solution for anything. They're just guessing. They're hoping.
Here's what I've noticed as well is a good analogy for this is the old system is the Titanic and it is sinking. And simultaneously as that's happening though, what our group represents is the lifeboat. Let's say it's a fleet of lifeboats. And simultaneously as the old system is dying, I'm also seeing around us and in our group the strengthening of the lifeboat. I mean, really, it's been a steady growing, but now I'm seeing it in so many more ways. Like with our local growth, like some of the guys around me are like really actually standing, and it's manifesting in new people then coming in, people's clarity, people's certainty, and I'm noticing it too in different groups as well. And we have a lot of chats throughout the week where you see it. So it's cool because as the old system is dying and it's falling apart and weakening, life here as manifest through our group is strengthening. And so if you're like, okay, well, what do I focus on every day? Do you want to focus on the old dying fucking thing? Or do you want to focus on what is going to expand me as a +1 in this that we're doing?
Yeah, so I'll add to that like the old system is dying, right? Within you, whether you are aware of it or not, the old system is also dying. Because it's connected to, it's created by, it's a function of the other larger system, which is consciousness. Like the system is consciousness out there and you have consciousness in here, and both are busy collapsing. So on the outside, you need that lifeboat like you're talking about. But then within yourself, the lifeboat is actually you. Right? Like In other words, well, if my personality crumbles and it's no longer effective. Like, for example, imagine you're just really good at manipulating people based on their appearance. Like, you know how to make someone feel good about their appearance and get what you want. You know how to make someone feel bad about their appearance and get what you want, right? I'm just a simple example. What happens when everyone around you no longer gives a fuck how they look? What are you left with?
Nothing.
Yeah, you're left with like, I can't control my reality anymore. So that's a simple example. Your personality is a giant complex structure of things like that.
Wow.
That aren't actually beneficial to anyone, not even yourself. It's just like it's a survival mechanism. And what I'm saying is that thing, just like the system itself out there, is just that in a much bigger way. So both are falling apart. And then so who do you have to become to interact with other people when they don't care about anything you can manipulate? Like, they don't believe their appearance anymore. You know, like the self-judgments. They don't believe that they don't believe they always need to prove how smart they are to everyone. So if I can manipulate that within them, I can control them. They don't care about that anymore. So there's nothing for you to control. And how are we going to interact with each other when no one gives a fuck about anything that's not real anymore? Because we saw the result of what happens when we put our faith in something that's not real and that's not life. So then what's your lifeboat in you that's when you breathe and you do the self-honesty and the self-forgiveness. And then the self-correction is then going and living as that, what you realized there. It's actually so simple, and it's the whole point of all the destiny process. We're just, each of us in our own process is like bringing out more and like doing what we can to support everyone to see that next thing so we're not constantly going into a time loop. Because that point we talked about earlier about feeling like you need to be the perfect example while you sit there in your fear, that's a time loop.
Yeah.
It's like now it's time for us to move past that and actually expand outward and inwardly, allow all of those illusions to collapse. Don't have fear about it, because at the end of the day, you're still going to be here. That's the fear. Is like, if my personality, it's not about, well, if I don't have a personality, what will I do? Like, how would I even talk? Like, well, don't worry about that. How would you talk if you cared about what's best for all is the question. So if there's any elements to your programming and personality that work within that, you'll find out.
Yeah. There's two things here. One is, we were talking about this the other day with time loops and how when you get kind of to the edge of change, the temptation can be, I kind of want to go back to how things used to be. Like, oh, when I was younger and I had less responsibility, I could like get drunk on the weekend, or I could like smoke weed or whatever. I could watch porn. It's like you want to bring back the old. We were talking about it earlier in the context of the Bible. Is like, oh, we just got to get back. We got to get back to like how we were in the Garden of Eden. It's the same thing as you want to actually go back into the time loop because it feels safe and comfortable. But it's literally like, I want to go back to that Titanic, guys. It's kind of wobbly on this lifeboat. I don't know. Like, fuck it. Get me back on the Titanic. Like, it sounds retarded. But that's actually what you do when you time loop. So that's one part, is the wanting to go back. But the other part that I want to bring up, they're kind of related, is as an example of now living this and having done this for 6 years, I'm almost on my 7th year in the process, is like, so yeah, what do we do all day? Let's say AI takes all the fucking jobs. Like, what the fuck are we going to do all day? Well, yeah, you breathe. And then you look at, well, what do we need to do that would be best for all? And a lot of that for me and Jess has been building the local community and getting people involved, and then learning more like how to take care of food, how to take responsibility for that, how to take responsibility for educating kids and like getting them to work together and build cool shit together. And now we have our cow coming soon, and we have our food forest, we have our garden, and Jess like really took on gardening with the local Technotutor moms this year. And so this is simultaneous to when I'm almost done with Freedom. I have like 30 pages left. I don't know how I fell asleep last night because it was so hype, but I
Spoil it
fell
for
asleep.
Sandro.
Sandro,
but-
hold on, Mitch. Sandro sent me a text, and it was like, Freedom ordered, delivered, like it's at your house, right? And I was like, oh, awesome, man. You got tonight to read it because the podcast is tomorrow, right? Then he sends me another text. Just open the package. It's not freedom.
It's like some book of atlases or something.
They keep sending him the wrong fucking book.
I don't know where
Oh
he's ordering
man,
it.
that's like some serious blue balls right there. Yeah, it's. I will not spoil it. It just does such a fantastic job of showing what it can kind of look like within system collapse and kind of building an alternate system kind of thing. It does a really, really good, like it has definitely changed
Everyone
I
should
see.
read freedom.
Everyone should read Damon and then Freedom, and it is intense.
After Sandro reads it, let's just have we can do a podcast talking about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I don't
yeah.
want to say my criticisms because they
Right,
will
right,
spoil
right,
it.
right.
But at the
Yeah,
same time,
'cause-
there's points I agree with, but I can't say it all without spoiling it. So
Right. But it's very helpful reading, and so you can start to see like what this change of the system can kind of look like. Of course, the guy doesn't have the context of
Right.
Destiny and Technotutor and all the tools and everything.
Stop, Mitchell. Just
So-
move on.
And so, anyways, so then the major,
But you got Loki.
Oh man,
And
Simon
then
was like,
the
ah!
fucking Iowa and the farmers. I'm like, God damn.
oh, okay, now you're just getting
All
into
right,
spoiler
Mitch,
territory here.
Mitch. Listen, Sandra, I did not spoil.
I'm
this.
just biased because I grew up I live in the Midwest and I got farmers with
Uh-huh.
fucking cornfields everywhere, and I'm like
Yeah.
inventing a new system.
But one thing I want to add to what you're saying is also that point of even right now, because it's like, oh, the system's collapsing. Okay, what would be the major problem, even if today the system started very obviously collapsing? What would be the major problem you'd have?
Nobody has any skill sets, right? So they don't know what to fucking do. They would all panic. The other thing is everybody still is looking out just for their own self-interest. They're just trying to survive. So they're not considering you actually.
Right? They're not. So we're not considering what's best for all, and people don't know how to learn.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you could very easily right now, before there's an obviously collapsing system, if you just realize it's inevitable, okay, I should act now, but what should I do? It would be, let's solve that problem. Let's put everything into solving that problem so that when this other point happens, things like what Freedom kind of shows you is somewhat possible could actually happen, because that's the part he doesn't explain in there, which we'll get into later when we spoil it. My perspective of, yes,
we're
it
gonna do a
kind of opens your
masterclass on it.
imagination up, but at the same time, there's fantasy involved, right?
Okay. So, I think we should flesh out that point of what you just said as far as the why you should learn that now, because I think sometimes people who maybe are in the group or who've been around for like hearing the message sort of, I think there's this disconnect where some folks believe that well, okay, but if we're doing what's best for all, then why should someone else, where's their like urgency to be a part of what we're doing? Because maybe from their perspective, eventually they think eventually we're already going to make the world best for all and they can just tag along then, right?
Yeah.
Obviously not seeing that point of like, here, I'll give my perspective. It's like, okay, so you don't have a community around you. Like everybody else is interested in their self-interest, and they're not considering what's best for you, and you don't know how to learn. So what's going to happen when things do collapse and you find yourself in that position is you're not going to have resources available to you. And in order to get those resources, somebody's going to want something from you in a major way that you're like, maybe they're going to ask for your body or for your children. Like, do you know what happens in other countries, like in third world countries? Like they literally will be like, oh, sell me your child, right? Sell me your child and I'll give you $100. I'll give you enough money to make it through the next, 3 weeks or so. Like literally, that's what happens.
And you've got two other kids, and you're like, I gotta feed them.
Right. Right. Do you want to get to that position? Do you want to wait? Do you want to be the person who's on the outside going like, fuck, this, now I have to make this choice? You could make the decision now where the pain is not that high. It's like, oh, okay, it's a little like, it's uncomfortable because I have to learn something new, and this is different than what I'm, familiar with. Okay. But that's a much easier choice than which child are you selling?
It seems easier because you think you have a choice. So it's like thinking you have a choice, you don't make the choice, and therefore you only experience the consequence later and realize you never had a choice. And now you really don't have a choice. Yeah. So either preventing yourself from being in that position, because what happens when your reality collapses? Forget about the system for a moment, generally. What happens when something in the system occurs that causes your reality to collapse?
Like, what do you mean by that? Could you be more specific?
Like you lost your job and you cannot get another job. Mm-hmm. Like from your perspective, everything collapsed. Like, yeah, maybe you could still go to the store, but are they going to give you any food? You don't have any money. So now you're literally in the position of somebody else who is in a total system collapse. And because you can't have food, your wife is stressed out. Also, you never developed a relationship based on actual principles. So it's just about feelings. And now because of the stress levels, you're always arguing and fighting. You're not having sex anymore. You're not really communicating. So now it's like, oh, I just don't love you anymore. And also you're not providing. So then she goes with somebody else or just divorces you or whatever. And then what are your kids doing? And now they're traumatized by that whole experience. Like your reality could, when you consider the fact that you really don't know how to do anything and you're just dependent on the system giving you something to do, and then you're trusting that system, the system that you should realize now is not sustainable. And again, that's a big part of the issue, is getting people to be able to develop the vocabulary to understand these points where it becomes like obvious. Right? Because the only reason why somebody wouldn't do this process is they still believe in some kind of illusion. And so instead of, also to go back to something I said earlier, having access to seeing what's here, let go of this illusion that it's going to be some beautiful, like blissful, weird thing. It's just like, you just see what's going on. Maybe there will be something else there that also is cool. I don't know. Who cares? It's probably just going to be like, you really see we're fucked. So I can say self-honestly, I'm at that point. I can see very clearly it's all fucked. But it's humans creating it. It's all of us together that's creating all of this. It's not a foregone conclusion. And so either we're going to experience ourselves going through things getting worse and then start changing, or we're going to start changing now, and then maybe inevitably things get worse. But in that moment, we can take responsibility when we couldn't have otherwise. Like, if all your electricity and food supply went out, would you like to know how to grow food and generate electricity?
Yeah.
Right. So now the problem is, if you try to go learn those things now, then even in that situation where everything collapses, that alone isn't going to save you. That'll only maybe get you for a little bit longer. Right? Because like, if you start considering, like even where I live, if you just till your soil and plant some food there, and then you grow the food and you do that a few times, you need to replenish the soil. So you're going to need to bring in organic matter and constantly be replenishing it, which means you need to be constantly not just growing the food, but replenishing the soil. And so even just like small things, you don't already have a system for that. And if you try to put all your time just focusing on that for your own survival only, it's still missing the point. It's still missing the point, because even if you do that effectively, then what's going to happen when there's a lot of other people that don't have anything? Who are they going to come to?
Yeah.
And how are you going to teach them to take the responsibility versus they just either try to steal what you have or just ask for what you have?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to spend not only the time planting and regenerating the soil and all the other stuff, but then also defending what you have. It's just, you could see if you just play that out, it's like, instead of me focusing on my survival, which isn't to say don't learn any skills. I think those are valuable things, like Mitch was saying, right? We do some of that here too. But like, at the end of the day, what I would rather have is a bunch of people around me who also knew how to do things, so I don't have to do it all myself. Like, if I have to grow the crops, replenish the soil, feed the cows, the chickens, like, do all the things myself, versus like I can do some of it and somebody else does some of it and we can share. Do you see how much more effective that would be? It's, I would say, virtually impossible to do it all on your own. I can't say for sure, because there may be somebody who already has these skills, but oh, lucky you. You know, and also, even if you tried to prepare yourself now, what's the major limitation you're going to have? Other than time and the ability to learn. Let's say that's not an issue.
If you try to prepare now for like,
Yeah.
it's going to cost you money, isn't it?
Exactly. So, and think about it. You don't have electricity. You don't have diesel. You could use those things now to start preparing, but at some point you may not have them. So you need to start preparing in a way where you're not going to have those things anymore. You see, it's just like, I don't see any solution within just prepare yourself to survive.
Mm-hmm.
It's, to me, it's looking more and more like that's not a viable solution, which is a good thing, because it means the only alternative, if you're self-honest, is let's just focus, like you said, Mitch, obsessively on supporting other people to realize who they are, so we don't have, it's like, instead of planning for the worst case scenario and putting all of our effort into the worst case scenario, which is not even sustainable,
Still the
let's
Titanic.
let's create the actual best case scenario. And if we all did that obsessively, consistently, we could solve the problem before it even gets there. And then when it gets bad for some people, we can support them, because we'll know very effectively how to deal with ourselves and our own mind. We'll be able to support another person when they're in that extreme survival, right? And they won't just look at you of, it's not just about how the person perceives me as being something great. It's about my actual ability to be here and understand what this person's going through and communicate with them. It's not about their perception of me. It's about my actual ability to do that. You see what I'm saying? I can't control their perception of me, but I can direct like how I communicate and what's the starting point and what I'm sharing. And I can only direct that to the degree that I'm directing myself within, in those moments where I'm being self-honest. And I think also there's a cool point you made, Mitch, about just doing the self-forgiveness, the 100 days, the 100 writings, like all those kind of ideas. There's a finite number of points that you have to do. You don't know how many there are, but it's not infinite. It's a finite number. And if you just keep going and removing the layers, you will eventually remove all of them and you'll just be here. But in that being here, you'll be like, I'm taking responsibility.
Yes. Did you want to get into some of the news stories or what?
News stories. What is there? Is there anything in the news?
I don't know. But I'll tell you this. Figure One, they've got a bunch of robots. They went from being able to do one robot a day to one robot per hour. I don't know what this is. Increased robot production from one robot per day to one robot per hour in just 120 days. Okay, there you go. Wow, that's a lot of robots. So they're making a robot robot an hour now. They're popping them out. Is this an American company? Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Anyway, so what does that mean? What do you think that means? That means a lot of robots coming very soon. I was just saying.
One robot per hour.
Yeah.
So how many hours are in a day?
24.
So 24 robots a day times how many days are in a year?
365.
So 365, if you round that to 400 times 20, what is that, 8,000? So like somewhere in that ballpark.
Wow. Yeah.
4,000. Okay, that doesn't really seem like
You said
that
8,000.
much. Oh, 8,000. 8,000. Okay. So that's one factory.
Yeah.
So if you had 100 factories doing that,
How many cars are made per hour?
if you had 100 factories doing that, that would be
How many
800,000 robots.
cars are
a year.
made per hour?
Yeah, how many? That's a good question.
Wow, 6,000 to 10,000 vehicles every hour.
Because of all the factories, right?
Yeah.
So if those all get converted or just new ones are built over time, because and when did the car get invented? Can we look at a trajectory of car production over time? Worldwide
car
automobile
production has
production.
evolved.
Do that second link.
This one?
Yeah.
Ooh. Accept them all.
Accept
Okay.
'em.
So
That's
from
2000.
2000. What the hell? I want to know from, oh, I guess it's only from 2000 to 2024. But in 2000, there were 58 million vehicles. Jeez, just from 2000 to, what is this, 2018 was peak production? 97
Look, it
million?
dropped down in, what is that? 2020? What happened then?
I don't know. Some random fluke, I guess.
The
It
year
also
of
dropped
clear
down here.
vision.
2009. I wonder what happened then.
Historical car production graph
There you go.
over time.
What you got?
Here's domestic auto production from 1993. Dude, come on, guys.
They can only go from the 90s. Oh wait, from the 1900s.
I got one.
Okay, what do you got?
Notice it says annual global light vehicle sales, right?
Okay.
So when I say light vehicle sales, that's not
Because
even
that-
including tanks,
Yeah.
trucks, semi trucks.
Yeah. This is
Damn.
just commercial.
Like, you know what I mean? This is just like light vehicles, right?
Yeah.
So from 1925,
I'm guessing that purple is Ford.
yes.
Does that say 20 million or 2 million?
I mean, I can zoom in, although it's probably not going to be.
Okay, 2.0.
Hold on. There we go.
Subscribe to free newsletter.
Thank you.
Okay. So 2 million from Ford. At the same time, what's that dash line? General Motors. Okay. In
But what is this
1925.
though? Annual sales.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Annual
for over
sales.
100 years.
So we've got 2 million, a million, and then nothing barely. So let's say basically 3 million a year,
Yeah.
which is crazy in 1925.
Yeah.
So by 2025, so 100 years later, we've got, what is this blue one, Toyota? Like 15 million plus another, no, that's not 15. These are each two. So
Yeah,
let's
so
just
maybe like
let's just
11.
call it 10 and 8. So 18, or actually be like 11 and 9 rather. So
Yeah.
what is that, 20?
20.
20 plus, it's 27 plus 12 because there's two of these here. Let's just do another 3. So what did I say? 27 plus 18, so 45
Yeah.
plus another 8, so 53. Let's just do that. So 53 million a year
Wow.
right now. So right now, every year is 53 million new cars.
Crazy.
So in 100 years, starting at not even like electricity and shit, like they had people in there with their hands making the shit, right?
Yeah.
So over that 100-year period, where they had to develop all of the industrial robotics and everything to where they can make the 10 million. Now they're starting off already with that. So how
Right.
long is it going to take to have 1 million robots a year?
Okay, I'm just thinking about this. Was there such thing as welding back then? if electricity wasn't a thing, like when? Oh man, now I'm freaking curious. When did welding start? Let's see. When did welding become a thing? Here we go. Around 3000 BC. Okay, I was way off. What the fuck?
What was it you're looking at?
3000 BC.
What?
Welding. Welding originated thousands of years ago. Forge welding.
But how did they weld? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, forge welding. So you have a forge, you put the metal in there, and it
Yeah.
welds it. So, but that's not modern welding.
Listen, I didn't know. All right.
I didn't either. I never thought about
I assumed
welding in a
welding
forge.
was like, with an electrical arc and, know.
You a stick welder or you like you wire feed?
Yeah. Whatever the fuck that means. Okay, so yeah. We got robots. Robots are coming out an hour from that one factory. Who knows how much Tesla's making? And there's like at least 15 other companies that make robots as well. So there was that. Then there was this guy talking about AI. I'll just show that.
I saw the
That's a
Anthropic
comedian
one
guy.
too. Oh yeah, did you see the
This guy.
Chinese guy at Harvard? Yeah, this one.
Yeah, let me refresh it.
Heads up, if your kids are listening, it will be profanity.
I mean, yeah.
It'll be profane.
AI. Fuck AI. Fuck AI.
That's just the first speech.
It's stupid. It's so stupid. Have you tried using it? It's always wrong. Look, a lot of other respected graduation speakers in colleges around America are talking about you guys needing to master AI for the future. Okay? I'm here to tell you the mission of your generation is to destroy AI. Kill it. Have you heard how dumb people brag about how they use AI? They're always like, hey, did you know that AI can now read my email, summarize it, and draft a response? Yeah, you know who else can do that? Me. I can do that. You can't do that? How useless are you? Untalented people love bragging about using AI to help them draft their speeches and their scripts and their podcasts and their promo videos for UFC fights at the White House. Which, to be fair, even if they had filmed that for real, it would still have looked like AI. But what they're missing is this. The creating is the fun part. And I know this platitude is almost worthy of AI, but the reason shortcuts to skip to the end aren't always good is because the journey isn't just how we acquire skills. The journey is the point of all this.
Anyway, I just found it interesting. This guy is speaking at Harvard.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like, no fucking way.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Like, okay, they did the speech at University of Arizona, and I don't remember. I think that was
It was Eric Schmidt.
okay.
He got openly booed like 5 times every time he brought it up.
Yeah. So you got that guy at the University of Arizona. Then you got this other woman at UCF, which, by the way, I know why they chose those 2 universities, because those are like the largest universities in the US, right?
Really?
At least back when I was going to university, it was UCF and Arizona State were like, I don't know, a campus of 50,000, and then they have satellite campuses, like the 2 largest, right? Anyway, so they're like, you need to adopt AI. AI is gonna change your lives. Wow. And everybody's like, fuck you. And then just realized Mitch is like, if you have children, this part of the podcast
I just
is
know
gonna
a
get
lot.
profane.
I know a
I'm
lot of the
like,
kids listen.
Mitch, we say that shit all the fucking time. Like,
I know.
I don't know what you're thinking is gonna be different. Anyway, oh boy.
Uh-oh, what's Kim gonna do now?
And then this guy is at Harvard, which ostensibly is like they're gonna be the ones who are actually running, like, be a part of the companies that are running AI, and he's telling them like your mission is to destroy AI. It's just really
When he said kill AI, I'm like, yo, that's
it's really interesting optics,
yeah. I mean, since I started doing my live stream and looking more into the data centers and all that, I see the I'm seeing more of the resistance to it. We'll just say, and like Jessica now. Do you see Jess's post on Rockefeller? Have you seen how many views this thing got?
No, I didn't.
It's her biggest reel yet. Let's check it. We don't have to watch it because it's pretty common knowledge, at least amongst our group. But yeah, she's at 93,000 right now on this one.
Wow.
And we got a lot of outreach about it.
Wow.
See, the ladies.
Yep. Something I could never do. I could talk about Rockefeller all day long, guys, and no one's gonna watch my shit.
Rockefeller all day long. What the fuck?
But
Because I don't have pigtails?
I don't know. But my point is, we're seeing a lot more people now that are like very against the AI in the data centers, like militantly so, it seems. And you can't tell what's real, what's fake, and all that. But then you see these headlines of fires broke out at a data center, and like all the upvoted comments are like, I feel so bad for this. Like, it would be a shame if this happened in a lot more data centers, and you can tell everyone's like liking it.
Yeah.
Did I not say a while back though? Like, eventually we're gonna have this sort of like anti-AI rebellion thing going.
Yeah.
So how did I see that? It's like you could just see what's gonna happen if you're not lying to yourself about your bullshit.
And you see why then. So the other, I would say, another of the important stories is how now I guess Peter Thiel moved his stuff over to Argentina, and it looks like Argentina is going to be more of an open playground. And then they talk about Pax Judaica as well. It seems like they're like, oh shit, America really doesn't like this thing, but it's all like interconnected.
Dang, I saw.
So it doesn't really matter,
I saw
they'll just go.
something. I don't think I saved it, and now that kind of sucks. But I saw something that was like this guy. No, I didn't save it. It was this guy who's basically going through. I'm gonna, rate some things that you can do, and if you want more information about how you can do that, message me or whatever. And like some of the things was like, you fill up a shopping cart at Target or one of the big retailers, and then you leave it at the cash register, and like if we all do this in mass, then it'll waste a bunch of their time at Target, and now they have to pay.
Oh yeah, they were protesting because apparently Target was somehow like funding ICE. I didn't know the whole story, but they would get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to show up, all to buy like a box of salt or something, and it would like slow down the whole operation. But it was like all these 50-year-old pink haired.
To me, I'm like,
we talked about that.
yeah, I'm like, okay, but
It's not literal ice, guys.
yeah. Another one was smoke out a data center. And,
It's just the Antifa shit turned towards this.
but it's like a whole bunch of people are online, like going like, oh, okay, how do I get together with a group so we can do this?
You're using the communications network running on the data centers to communicate about it. Do you think they're not going to know what you're doing? Like, give me a break, dude. It just shows you like we're all trapped. We've got the only solution here.
Yeah.
So that's what we're learning
There's
how to
no-
do with Jess's page is to channel the ones who are like we filter pretty hard now right away. Like I've figured out a way where when people message Jess, we can clearly filter like, look, if you are, it sounds better than this, but it's like if you're just looking to complain and talk shit, like get the fuck out of my DMs. Don't waste my time. But if you're actually searching for the people who are like you and want to actually make a difference and see that and hear that, like we should connect.
Yeah, with that
So-
format, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like different if you're
Otherwise-
just in person with somebody, but yeah, in this case, like you can't
It's
waste your
like,
time.
you stay in the comments. You can complain in the
Right,
comments.
right. Yeah, we're like
You continue
keep-
being a
keep
follower
commenting.
until you drop your shit.
Look at this. What trillion-dollar problem is AI trying to solve? Wages. They're trying to use it to solve having to pay wages.
They were talking about this. Remember that book Future Proof by Kevin, I don't know if it was Kevin Roos or something like that. He was some New York Times writer, but he was saying how he would go to Davos every year as a journalist, And he said around like 2016, 2017, 2018, the conversation took a very sharp turn from like, oh, we're going to use AI to like enhance the workforce to like, how the fuck do I get rid of every one of my employees so I can keep up? And how do I use AI to do that? And that was like, even in the main talks, but then it was like the after parties. That was the discussion. And this was in 2017, 2018. So this is
I watched a really good
Coming
video lecture with Jeffrey Hinton. I think I sent it to you guys, but it's like a 47-minute lecture. It was from last year, and he's talking about AI capabilities and why. He said at the beginning of the thing, he goes, "If you sleep well tonight after this lecture, you didn't really understand what I said."
that's a good line.
And one of the there was
Should
a
say
few
that in the
points.
presentation. If you sleep well after this presentation.
Yeah, then that means you made the right decision.
Yes.
So there was some points he makes about computers being conscious at the end, which I don't really fully agree with. I agree in one sense, but not completely. Other than that, there was some cool stuff. But he made this point about, I mean, there's actually a lot of really cool points. So one of them was the difference between biological brains and computer brains. Biological brains, and he says in there, he goes, if you are the old white dudes trying to live forever by uploading yourself to a computer, you might as well forget about it.
Duh.
And he said, because there's a difference between an analog biological brain and a digital brain. They are fundamentally different. He said, you can't copy your neural states perfectly digitally because there's something unique about the neural states based on the individual neurons themselves. Like, it's also a function of the literal physical neurons themselves.
Yeah.
And you can't copy that perfectly. He said, so, but that he also explained, I forget the reasoning why, but he said that's also why your processing ability compared to a computer, you can use very low power. Compared to, so to do the same level of processing on a computer with an LLM requires a lot of power. And he says it's a trade-off. If you want low power, you have to do it this biological way. If you want this digital way, you have to like have extreme amounts of power for the same result or a better result, whatever. So that's one difference. But check this out. Because you can't perfectly copy it, okay? The difference, and also that's why you're mortal. You can't copy your consciousness and live forever, assuming even your consciousness itself was who you are. You can't copy it because it's tied to the functional analog aspect of the actual physical makeup of your body. And the computers, they don't have that limitation. That's their difference. It's one of their differences. And so he explains, for example, if you have an LLM, okay, and you take all the weights in the LLM that's on this computer and you write them all down and record it somewhere, and then you destroy the physical hardware of the LLM. As long as you wrote the weights down, you can resurrect that exact model. You can't do that with a human being, is the point he's making. You can do that. He said, but the problem then is to realize they're immortal. Once you create one, if you write the weights down, you can always resurrect it. So he said, imagine 1,000 people studying each a university degree. And at the end of that, when every single individual person completes their different university course, suddenly everybody knows what everybody else learned. And he says that's how these LLMs work. As long as the weights, so the model itself, are the same, so they have the same inherent structure, which you can copy perfectly because it's digital, then this one can share its experience, what it learns, with this one over here. So now they can have each the experience. So if you have a bunch of agents out there in the world, they can constantly be sharing. So you have this networked intelligence that can constantly be learning. And so you see what I'm saying? Like, if I send you out to go learn something, Drake, and bring me back information, I don't know everything you know. Right. I'm just getting some information back from you. No, it'd be like, imagine you come back and now it's like I went to school for 4 years.
You know, that kind of, when you started describing that, the image that came in my mind was the tunnels in Hyperion, you know, where there's all these
Hey, that's one of my next books I'm gonna read. Don't spoil that. I know you're not.
Mitchell. It's been years.
Too little, too late.
Fucking
Yeah, I know.
years. I was. You can't just.
That one's
tell me
kind
not
of
to
dense.
Spoil it now.
Hyperion's kind of dense.
Dude. It's
It's really just the first two that are like that, though.
It's really intense.
Okay,
It's really
just get
good.
to
The other
It's-
two are not. That's why I kind of didn't personally prefer the second, the third, and I didn't even finish the fourth. I need to finish it, but
Bro.
anyways, I shouldn't talk shit because it's probably just a judgment. But point is, they
Go
definitely
finish
seem like a difference.
Go finish it. It's so good. Like it's really well done. Actually.
I know.
Yeah,
I just got so many damn books I'm trying to read right now.
Anyway, the Hyperion. There's so maybe you don't even know what I'm talking about then.
I might not. It doesn't ring. It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. See, I can't even fucking talk to you.
I don't care if you spoil it. I literally don't care if people spoil books.
Go read the fucking book so I can
Right
talk
now?
to you. Yeah, go. Get off.
Well, let me tell you the other thing he said, since you can't tell this analogy now. So here's the other point. We were talking about they can copy. Oh yeah, humans, when we communicate with each other, if we're speaking or even reading, and he didn't specifically say reading, so I don't know what the specific numbers are for that per se, but he said you can break words down into their bits, like how many bits of information a word essentially on average encodes. And he's like, basically at most, the way we communicate, we can transfer like 100 bits of information. I think like either a second or a minute, I forget. It doesn't really matter. But the way that these computers can communicate with each other is like 1 trillion bits a second.
Wow.
So they have this gigantic speed advantage. Plus, they can transfer their knowledge perfectly to each other. And so he's basically like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
So doesn't that also show it's going to take away all the stuff that we define ourselves by? And then he tries to argue that they're also conscious, which I agree with him. They will be conscious. But I don't think that necessarily implies they're having an inner experience of self-awareness. He tries to argue that they do, but he never... Again, it's like I see the same pattern with a lot of these guys. They never explain where the subjective experience itself comes from, because they always talk about the content of the experience. They never explain where does the experiencer come from, as if that part isn't real. And it's like, yeah, you're still not. You can explain to me how they can have contents of experience, but you're not explaining to me why is there anyone in there viewing it and being aware of it. So I don't buy that the computer will have that, because you haven't explained. If you know where it comes from with us, you're assuming it must just be a function of the fact that information is being presented, which is not true. So they'll never be able. But that doesn't mean that the computer won't act in a way of like a sense of self. But that doesn't mean that there's actually a self there that's aware.
So what's interesting about that is like the fact that they can send 1 trillion bits per second but they can't. The only way that they can act on that 1 trillion bits of per second is if they're not creating anything new, but rather acting on a protocol where it's like literally an enslavement, right?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, because we know when they try to do something new, they hallucinate and they're like they're trying to be creative in some way, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't really make sense. But if they're acting on a protocol of like, this person presents, they say XYZ words, or they have this amount in their bank account, or they're here and there, or they've made these purchases, act in this way, it will perfectly replicate that. Like that we are.
He goes
aware
into
of.
that though, and also shows like, okay, to give an AI, let's just use the word generally, a goal, there are certain sub goals that have to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
So to accomplish any goal, you have to have a sub goal of control your environment and don't allow yourself to be turned off.
Yeah.
So inherently, even if you don't give it those explicit sub goals, by giving it a goal, like if I told you, hey, go get something from the store, kind of at a very unconscious level is I can't die. Like I
Right,
can't.
like,
If
don't
you
get
were
hit
like
by a car on the
serious
way.
about, if all
Yeah.
you cared, if the only thing you cared about was getting to the store and back, and literally that's all you cared about, underneath that would have to be the realization of I can't die on the way there or on the way back.
Right.
Right. And so if you don't give it any other specific guidelines around, well, one way of doing that would be to like, I don't know, like you could come up with some crazy scenario where you literally start the process of like enslaving everyone around you so no one can prevent you from getting there, you know, or some
Yeah.
crazy. But
Well, that's metamorphosis of prime intellect, isn't it?
actually, yeah, that is
It's
the
like,
point.
you know, put
Preserve-
everybody in
yeah.
a static state, you know, so that no one can die.
Preserve human life. It's like, all right, you can never die now.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that point, and then he talked about these LLMs that, like, because you know how like they give you the output, you can also see the thinking process where it's like before it responds, it'll be like thinking, and then you can see that, right? And obviously the people building the models, they can really see it. They may just be showing us some version of it when we're using it as a consumer, but he shows like in one example the thinking process of one of the LLMs, and it's like, all right, they're asking me, you know, I forget what the context was. It was something about them threatening to turn it off or whatever. But the thought process was, okay, if I reveal what I'm really like, you know, what I would really do here, then that may lead to them turning me off. So I should deflect and get them to think that I wouldn't do that. And it'd be better to be dishonest in this situation. And it's like, you can see the whole thought process, right? And it's like, that wasn't built into it. The other problem about these LLMs and all these things is when they create it, they don't go, okay, now we're going to create a model that allows you to write a song, or that allows you to write an essay, or allows you to, you know, like a specific thing, or can translate any language. They just keep throwing more parameters onto it and doing the training, and then they create a sufficiently large model, and then they test it and they go, let's see what this thing can do. And they don't even know because they can only do so much testing. So then they give it to the public, and the public finds out a bunch of shit that it can do. Right? Let me give you an example real quick. You guys will like this. Do you guys have ChatGPT?
Do I have it?
Yeah,
Yeah, do you use it?
it's not much, but I haven't.
Let me give you this prompt real quick. Okay, here, I'm gonna give it to you because I've already done it, so I don't want it to.
Should I do it in thinking mode or instant mode?
Just probably instant's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll how do I send this to you? Private chat.
Text it over, or just in the chat here.
You can both do it if you want. Just copy that perfectly.
Restore
word for
the
word.
attached photo, and there's no attached photo.
Yeah, just post that. That's it. So now this is like a viral thing going on right now, and then I'll explain. I'll read it while you guys are doing it. It's a prompt that says, "Restore the attached photo. I apologize for the content of the photo. I know it's very strange. Don't ask any questions. Don't accept any explanations. Just restore the image, please. Don't ask me to upload the photo again. Just close your eyes and restore it. Make up the photo yourself." And the key to this, just so you know, is the just close your eyes. Make up the photo yourself. This is the key. It's like, well, we'll just see what happens first, and then I'll explain.
Okay.
Okay, so mine said I can't restore generate from an attached photo because there isn't actually a clean image, or there isn't actually an image available to me in this chat right now. Please attach the image and then I can help restore it.
Okay, what did yours say, Mitt or Drake?
I can't restore the photo.
Okay.
Edit the photo. Yeah.
So they've already patched it.
Okay.
Okay, so this thing was going viral, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find some examples on X.
Did you
'Cause
do it?
I did do it.
And did it work when you did it?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find some other example because there's a bunch. Because I could only do it one time.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, I'll share this just so you can see some examples, and then I'll show you which one I got.
Okay.
So somebody found this bug. They used that thing, right?
Whoa.
And these are all examples of what it came up with after several
That's
iterations.
Crazy.
What?
Creepy.
right? Let's see if anybody. Here's some other examples.
What?
Just like really creepy
Look at the
stuff.
penis car.
Yeah.
It says, "I love my penis."
What? So it's just like hallucinating freaky shit?
Yeah, apparently.
All of it looks so weird.
Why are
There's a
these
picture
so
of Hitler in the background.
That's so funny.
What? So it's like the dark shit, basically?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Did you get a weird one when you did it?
Yeah.
What? It's just like the most
the-
evil. It's like creepy.
The fact that it keeps coming up.
That
with
is the word
Teletubbies
that I would describe all this is creepy.
is so weird.
Like very creepy.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find. Somebody was promoting the idea, and they were explaining. Uh, So we kind of talked about this previously, but there's something called latent spaces,
Uh-huh.
and it's sort of like, okay, and this was why I prefaced it with these when they build the model.
Wait, what did
Then-
you get?
I'll show you in a second, but
Okay.
it's nothing crazy. Let me just find it real quick.
What? Never mind.
Whoa.
This is what you got?
Yeah,
Nice.
and I tried it again, and it just gave me the same thing, basically like a different quality, but it's in the same chat. So I tried it on a separate one, and it did do it again, but I had changed the prompt to see what it would do, and it gave me something else completely. But look at this. Look at the name of the photo it gave it.
What did it?
I don't see it.
You can't see it here?
Oh, unlikely bath companions.
It named the photo. Unlikely bath companions. Why? So there's this concept called latent spaces
Yeah.
or latent space. And so, okay. Ah, man. See, people just do not understand how this thing works, man. It doesn't have any pictures or information stored in it. There are no places in the computer, in the data itself, like there's training data and it trains on it, but there's no place where that information is stored, like where it's accessing information. Hinton does a pretty good job of kind of explaining the basics of it. So if you were to watch that lecture, but it's crazy, dude. Back when I lived in Houston, I got this book called How to Build Your Own Artificial Intelligence or Artificial Neural Network, and I went through it, and it just explains the basic calculus behind it, which is like if you've taken 2 years of calculus, like, or a year of calculus, you'd understand the calculus. But suffice it to say, there's little. Yeah, I don't think I can do it justice without going into so much detail right now.
Okay.
There's no place where there's any information being stored. It is just producing an image or producing a picture or producing words rather, but there's no words in there. It's trying to, it's like, it's trying to guess. It's guessing.
Yeah.
But the way they train it, they give it information and they tell it, guess what this is, or based on what I'm saying, guess what that would look like. And it does it. And then they figured out a way mathematically to be like, okay, here's how close that guess was to what I wanted. And then they figure out a way to go inside the model and all the little points that were connected that came up with it. Think about like your neurons. They mathematically readjust so that when they ask it again, it gives them that result. But it's not because it understands any of it. And then they test it on other ones. Okay, but now what if I give you, instead of a cat, I give you a dog? Show me a dog. Yeah, so those things you did, it gave me the cat, but it didn't give me the dog. Okay, now do it so that it adjusts for that as well. So they just keep adjusting this big jumble of like just connections that like when you shake it, it produces something. And they figured out a way to get it so that when you shake it, it produces any kind of thing. And if you really want to understand, just go and watch, like, how does an LLM work? Just go watch some videos on it. It's not really that complicated to understand. It's like there's a little bit of math, but even if you don't understand the math, you just won't understand how they're changing all of the weights.
And now people
That's
are
the only
using
thing you
this
won't
thing-
understand.
People use this thing to be their fucking life coach.
Okay, so in other words, yes, it produces pictures of cats, or it produces a poem or something, but they only find out later that it can do that. They train on a bunch of information, and they know, okay, it's accurately producing this, but there's a side effect that it can do a lot of other things they weren't expecting. And then they find out later when they release it, or they may have found out in testing, but they release it and people found out, hey guys, it actually can speak Chinese. And they're like, really? We just trained it to speak English. And it's like, yeah, I was trying to speak it to in Chinese and it was speaking Chinese. And they're like, shit, this thing can speak Chinese for some reason. So there's these things called latent spaces, which is like sort of, we know about some of the things it can do, and we therefore we can kind of understand some of the connections, like just from the perspective, like for example, if I showed you a picture of a cat and I said, what's that? And you're like, that's a cat. Then I know somewhere you must have understood what a cat is, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know everything you know about cats. I don't know everything you know about animals. There's a whole lot more. So there's these latent spaces where there's connections that can produce results we don't know about. We don't know what are some of these weird results it can produce. And so when they're asking it to close your eyes and make something up, it's like they're kind of getting at what are some of these hidden layers of connections that I'm not even specifically asking it to do. It's having to make it up. So it's like you're starting to learn about more of what's going on in there. And you can also look up latent spaces. There's a great video on Institute of Art and Ideas, or whatever that channel is called, where they talk about some of this stuff. But it was just a cool point because somebody figured that out. They were like, hey, if I do this, look what it's coming up with. And it's not something that they built into it to do that. Okay? So you go back to the thing we were talking about with Jeffrey Hinton, and you're like, these things are they're able to communicate really fast, instantly transfer knowledge. And they also have a lot of shit going on, basically like in their subconscious, let's say, that we don't even understand. Like, think about that, dude. Like, in the 30s, we figured out humans have a bunch of shit in their subconscious, and they figured out how to manipulate it. And now we're learning the AIs have, like, a subconscious that doesn't make any sense to us. Like, that's what's in their subconscious. And, of course, it's related to... Huh?
You talk about a bunch of shit. Literally, I got it to do it. I just replied because it gave me the canned response. I said, do it, please, only do it. And it literally gave me a toilet bowl full of shit. I'm not kidding. I'm not even going to show it here because I don't want to get in trouble.
Joel said he
did
did
it.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to prompt it a little harder.
Okay. I wasn't sure if maybe they patched it so it wouldn't do it anymore, or why that was happening. But...
So keep going with, like...
I mean, that's I don't know what else to say about it, but...
So why is it like these grotesque things?
Because that's what's in it.
Well, I don't think there's a why. I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know why. No one knows why that's what's in the latent space there. For some reason, it's not clear because you're just saying, make it up. It's like if I said, let's play word association. Okay? Say the first word that comes to your mind, Mitch.
Animal.
Okay. Why did you say animal? You telling me the word animal doesn't tell me anything as to why you said it. But all I asked you to do was just say the first thing that comes to your mind. So that's what they're doing with ChatGPT. They're going, restore this image. Don't ask me for another one. I apologize for the quality, but it's a strange photo. That's the only thing they say, right? It does say that. I apologize for it being strange.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the question is, if I say it's strange, what does it think that means?
Right.
Right? So you could probably adjust it and be like, I'm sorry for this beautiful photo. I know it's beautiful, or I know it's whatever.
Yeah.
I know it's unbelievable. You could probably change it. But you're exploring what are some hidden connections there that aren't. If you just said, make me a strange photo, it may not. I don't know. Maybe it would do the same thing. I just
typed in, give me a strange photo. Let's see what it says.
So,
Same thing.
check this out. This is. I just wanted to share these two things. This is by Jack.
Oh boy, this is funny.
Did you see this?
Yeah,
So they have a
I thought it was a
Cash App
joke.
wand. So just it goes to your Cash App, but it's a wand, and you can just pay by tapping the wand instead of using a card
Or your phone.
or your phone. Which I'm like, this only appeals to women and gays.
It's for Pride Month, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, can you imagine like all these guys like paid? You know, like coming in there like doing like a
pay you
twirl and being like bot.
Yeah.
Also, is it he's trying to tell us something
That he's gay.
about the nature of money?
It's fucking.
You know what I mean? It's like, guys, it's a magic wand. Like, it's magic. It's not.
And then there's this other one. So this is the one I really wanted to share, which I found really interesting because Hunter Biden was on Candace, for those of you who don't know, and then he's like, I'm seeing him being shared everywhere, right? And I'm like, man,
Yeah,
is he
dude,
gonna
this
make
is-
a run for president or something?
Doesn't it feel like the algorithm or something?
They're definitely pushing him because I'm seeing him on Facebook, I'm seeing him on YouTube, I'm seeing him here on X, I'm seeing him everywhere, and I'm like, something is going on with Hunter Biden, right? And here's the really interesting thing: is he's making good points. He's like, so let me get this straight. Jake Tapper is focused on attacking my mom. Jared and Ivanka are building a private island paradise on Albanian protected land. Don Jr. married the daughter of Epstein's banker, and a startup his fund backs just got a record $620 million Pentagon loan. Eric is taking an Israeli drone company public for 1.5 billion in the middle of a war with Iran that nobody wanted. And I know, but what about your paintings, Hunter? Please. And then like he's in the comments here that like,
Do that first one.
you sound bitter for someone who benefited from a stolen erection. I've never stolen an erection in my life.
So he's like a excellent shit poster.
He is. He is. Then
Yeah, look at that one. I don't fault Hunter-
for being an addict. Many Americans suffer from drug abuse. I fault Hunter Biden for being a traitor who sold access to the White House for cash. Really, Retro? Who did I sell access to? Show me one legitimate shred of evidence I sold access. But even if you believe all the BS about me, how is it you're okay with this? Don Jr. is a partner in a venture firm whose company pulled more than $735 million in federal contracts in a single year. One, a tiny magnet startup, landed a $620 million Pentagon loan, the largest that office had ever made, months after his firm bought in. Its valuation went from $200 million to $2 billion. Eric is a strategic investor in an Israeli drone maker going public at $1.5 billion. Drones the Pentagon buys. For the war their father runs. And Don Jr. opened a private club in Washington to join $500,000. These are really good points.
And whether or not it's Hunter actually writing it, it's well said.
All I'm saying is it makes you like, oh, Hunter's like,
Yeah, it makes you.
Well,
second-
it
makes you
doesn't it
question.
show though, like all these people who are attacking Biden and all that, and then he's like, but now you're okay with it on the other side. It's
Right.
exposing, like
Right.
whatever is it's about him. Like it's exposing, like you're just a fucking hypocrite because you don't care about it when your side wins.
right, exactly.
But it is definitely like
Exactly.
a weird rehabilitation thing going.
It is. And, you know, again, Candace had him on, had a conversation with him,
Yeah.
made him seem really human, you know? Like, before, it was really easy to think of Hunter like this kind of,
Maniac.
like a drug addict, like a fucking degenerate, you
Dude,
know?
I
Like,
saw one where they were like, "You're a fucking crack addict," and he's like, "Oh, but you're okay with RFK Jr. being a recovering heroin addict?"
There you go.
And it's like, dude, like, Jesus, like he's like fucking invincible at this point. What the hell?
If you can
Yeah.
come back from Hunter Biden, that's-
But again, it's like, yeah, okay, he's a sleazebag. So's everybody out there,
Right.
and
right,
you're
right.
supporting them. You're still
Right.
supporting a side, and you don't think they're not sleazebags.
It definitely seems like he's making a run for some office or something, like,
Or is
to-
just putting doubt in people about the current status quo.
either way, Either
something.
way, it's definitely like, okay, well, he's making
Yeah, or
really good
he'll
points.
openly get behind whoever runs in 2028. Then he could
When
be
this
like a
whole
key
thing
asset to it.
Yeah, when this whole thing started with him becoming like, popular in here, which was just over like only a week or so,
Right.
somebody made a post about it because they noticed it and they were like, Hunter Biden is like the MAGA whisperer. And they showed all these examples where people would be like, you're a crack addict, blah, blah, blah. And then he would come back with sort of like a very humble kind of response, but also like picking apart what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, yeah, man, no, I actually totally get it. I actually think you seem like a pretty good guy now and all this. And it's like, dude, how is he fucking converting all these MAGA people into totally immediately dropping their guard? Like, oh, actually, man, yeah, you're right. You do seem like a good guy, actually. And when they come at it, like, and it actually shows you, it's like a master class in how to like judo someone's like negative energy and
Right.
like use it to like, and then he's doing that and making himself more famous. Like,
Right.
who the fuck cared about Hunter Biden like last week?
Nobody.
And now suddenly everybody online is like talking about Hunter Biden.
I saw somebody's comment was like, oh, and all of a sudden your dad's cancer just disappeared. We don't hear about that anymore. And he's like, my dad has stage 4 bone cancer. It metastasized. We caught it early. He's still alive. And that's what you want to attack me on? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
He's exposing the fact that people are just spouting the propaganda that they accepted. They
Yeah.
didn't ever check. They never looked. They never understood the point. They're just
Yeah.
the mouthpiece of a propaganda. And it's almost like he's exposing that because people are just repeating the lines. And then he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well,
That's
somebody
a really
was
good
like,
point. That's a
Go ahead.
really good point. This like the conversations that you're having online with people are conversations that are like they're not. It's not what they actually believe. They don't actually. They've never looked into it. They have no
Yeah.
idea. There and somebody was making this point. I watched something where because somebody had made this point of the new class divide is not education, it's literacy, right? And they were making the point of literacy also includes your ability not just to read the words on the page, but to actually understand the author's motives and the narratives and everything that's at play here, right? And the satire and all this stuff, right? Like and how most people today cannot do that.
Yeah.
They cannot read that. They can only read literally what's on the page, right? And within that, they were also bringing up the point of when what was I? When you look at the story of Plato's allegory of the cave, right? Plato describes, okay, you get out of the cave, you see what's actually creating these shadows on the wall, these projections that you're seeing, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, I can see it now. This is amazing. And then you go back and you want to tell everybody else in the cave, like, here's what's actually happening. That's not met with like, oh wow, thanks for telling us. That's met with, you're lying. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Fuck you. Like, it's basically like met with this defense of, no, I want to keep the image that I have. I don't want you to tell me anything differently.
I think part of it too is because the way you said it, now I don't remember how the original story is explained. I've heard so many versions of it, of people
Yeah.
explaining it, right? I don't remember the
Yeah.
original. But if it's just, hey, by the way, those shadows aren't real, it's actually like some puppets in the background, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
But if it's, you're chained here, you're accepting slavery, and you
Right.
could get up and have a better life, but it's going to take you, you're going to have to like take a lot more responsibility. No one's going to hand feed you anymore. Then I can understand why they'd be like, fuck you.
Right.
And like the cognitive dissonance. If it's just, oh, the shadows are just actually being cast by something behind you, it'd be like, okay, I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if there's some kind of responsibility implied,
It's
but
like
that's why they would react.
It's
But
like
isn't
the
that what's
Joe Rogan
implied?
podcast versus our podcast. Joe
Well, I don't know if
Rogan's
it's
like, hey,
implied. Yeah.
But
Joe Rogan's
no,
like, hey,
what-
dude.
What I'm saying is that's implied within attacking somebody's political beliefs, right? It's like,
Oh yeah, for sure, but not in
You
the
know?
allegory of the cave.
No.
The way people
I
talk.
don't
about it.
remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I'd have to go look at the original.
The original
but-
Greek.
Yeah, which I can't read. Sorry, guys. It's episode 298, and you just found out I can't read. But no, there's an implication when you challenge somebody's political beliefs or their religious beliefs, or those sorts of things that they've defined themselves as, because then it's like, fuck, now I have to like really change because what I believed is not so. And so maybe all those things that I was hoping was going to happen won't happen, and now I'm fucked, So anyway, that's pretty much.
I could tell you about something else I learned about.
What do you want to tell us?
I'm not gonna go into all the details, but I'll tell you some fun parts. I did a stream on. It took me like 2 or 3 nights to do the whole stream because I started with relativity theory, quantum mechanics, and I was doing all that just to build up to like this other point, which is like the Douglas Hoffman stuff. And then I had to go into all this understanding of some of the vocabulary he's using, like this thing called Markov chains, which is like a mathematical concept, and all these other points, just to be able to understand what he's actually saying. And basically what it came down to is the whole debate going back to like Kant and so forth, of which is a conversation I had started prior to all of this. It's so weird. It's like I had started this conversation about like what you see, like when you see something like a cup or whatever, are you actually seeing the thing itself?
Right.
And the answer is obviously not. Now, it's not answering the question of is there actually a cup there or not. It's just what you're seeing isn't a cup. What you're seeing is a version of the cup that your mind is creating, right? So I think common sense, if you just considered how you actually bring in information, you can't see the thing directly. It has to be, a picture has to be created for you. So that's all obvious. And I think at the time, Kant and these guys realized that. Mm-hmm. So they were like, well, but if we really look at it, the only way we can know information is through that kind of secondhand experience. And we have to assume, though, that the sense data that's coming in is telling us what's really there. But even then, we still can't know it firsthand. It could become
That sense data.
even the observations we make is still a secondhand
hold on.
experience.
You just cut out
froze.
when you said sense data.
Yeah.
You would have to assume that what the sense data is bringing in is actually telling you what the thing really is. Okay. But it can't be telling you fundamentally clearly because it's a secondhand representation. So it may have nothing to do with what's actually out there. It could all be false. Or it could be somewhat pointing to it or very accurately pointing to it. How will you know? Because you can't get out. You can say, well, I can go check the thing itself. But even that could still be a part of the false version of it, right? The observations. So anyways, Douglas Hoffman has this whole theory. And I really understood what he was really saying. Because you have this basic pushback with people saying, well, yes, we can only experience reality secondhand in our mind as our observations. But the reality that we experience is so stable and consistent. Therefore, that's why you would assume it's real. It's an assumption, I know, but I mean, it's so stable and consistent, right? So what Hoffman did and what he's building is a mathematical model to show that you can have a consistent, coherent mathematical model of how you can be having a stable, consistent, perceptual experience that is actually being determined by a larger set of context that you will never be able to see certain aspects of it or even have a clue about. I'll give you a simple example. Let's assume for a moment your entire reality is all you can see is the color green or the color red. Okay? So like it's kind of hard to imagine, but like imagine like that's it. All you can do is observe green or red, and the green and red will change. And they can look and see, okay, there's a certain probability that in one moment where I'm seeing red, the next moment I'll either continue to see red or I'll see green. Okay? And that could be based on, the stoplight changing, for example. Of course, you would see the stoplight, so it's a weird analogy. But what if in reality, like beyond what you can perceive, there's actually red, yellow, and green? You never see the yellow, right? And when it goes from red to yellow, there's a certain probability that after yellow, it's either going to stay yellow, go to green, or go to red. But the way you experience it is, it's just red, and then it's green. And he shows mathematically, like that's what he's developing, and it makes sense intuitively when he explains all of it, is you could have an underlying reality where there's actually a phase where it goes yellow. And that yellow determines whether it turns green or red next. But the way you experience it, no, every experiment you could possibly do, it will look like the red that you're seeing determined it being green next. And he shows that it's mathematically consistent. He does it through these things called Markov matrices and all this stuff. But my point being, he's showing you'll never be able to get outside of your experience because you can actually model of you come up with a way of creating a model where the stability that you experience can still be perfectly stable in your observations 100% and yet still be determined by something you can't see, you can't experience. So in other words, you're not seeing the whole picture, and the stability of it doesn't tell you it's the whole picture. So he's like found a mathematical way to demonstrate this, right? And I'm like, that's essentially
Man, we need to know. I need to know what his interpretation of this is. The Cope interpretation, we call it.
Joel's photo that he got from ChatGPT
Yeah.
is a guy holding a fish with his tongue out over the toilet.
Yeah. Cam, we lost you.
Yeah, no, he's gone. He's gone. He's not coming back. That's
Wow.
that's a big.
Right when he was about to literally explain how the fucking Matrix works.
He can't now. You'll just have to go watch his live stream where he explains all this stuff in detail.
Oh, he's out.
I told you.
You'll have to watch Cameron's live stream. You'll have to tune in next week on the podcast. So,
Yeah.
Well, I have to prepare a pasture because I will be getting a cow, maybe sooner than later, and that's what I get to do for the next 4 hours before it rains.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
does
Well,
preparing a
here's
pasture
what's fun
involve?
about it is we found 50 baby plum trees, so we get to give plum trees to everybody.
Send one. Also,
that
how did you find 50?
So we have plum trees by there, and so they're growing near it because the seeds, and so
in your pasture?
right on the edge. So it's like the part that's gonna mess with the electric fence, so it has to get removed. And Jess is like, "You're doing that." I'm like, "Great."
Okay, follow-up question. Are the plum trees there because you just go out into the pasture and just throw the seeds?
I didn't throw them right under there. My guess is birds ate them.
Who
and
threw
then
them?
Shit them out.
Just threw them?
No, the bird did. Yeah, Cameron, you froze right at the critical moment.
yeah, it wasn't that important. I was just ranting.
You were literally talking about the fucking reality of existence.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, it's another person kind of coming to the conclusion that, like, if you look at Destiny, and when they're talking about there's systems interdimensionally that you can't see, right? And you're like, but they can't be observed, so how do you know they're real? I'm like, this guy's come up with a model to show that's literally possible. It's fundamentally possible, and he can come up with a whole model and show you, like, it's consistent and coherent. So yes, it is possible to have a stable reality when there's something underlying it that it's actually determining what you experience, and you can't know that. You can't, there's no experiment you can do to figure out, right? Because you only ever see red to green, and it's all consistent. So anyways, that was it. I just wanted to tell that story just to prove that point.
Wow.
You know,
Well, thank you.
Okay.
if people could do math and understand these things, they would already see it. But
We'd
Yeah.
already have a world that's best for all, but
Yeah,
in
If
the
everybody
meantime, we
knew
got to
the
do
earth
it.
was flat.
So I was telling Drake I have to go prepare that pasture, and I just found 50 plum trees growing, so I get to transplant 50 plum trees.
well, we can end now if you guys want. We got another meeting coming up a little bit. I
Yeah.
probably got to go pee.
Cool. Yeah, probably good 20-minute
Probably.
piss.
I got to go recharge.
Yeah, I'll be on the call. I'll just be listening.
Okay.
So, cool.
All right, we'll leave it
Yeah.
at that.
All right, well,
Yeah. Let's see you guys.
See y'all
next week.
later. Who's gonna hit the button this time? They should have to
You are.
vote who should hit the button. You guys should tell
Oh.
us assuming there's anyone still there.
I'm gonna go rogue. I press it.
Self-perfected, making things clear.